Nestled in with the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia lies one of the most historic racetracks on the NASCAR circuit, and since 1947, it has gained many notable nicknames throughout its tenure, such as the Augusta Nationals of Racetrack, the Half Mile of Mayhem, or as many know it as, the Paperclip, but to us, it's Martinsville Speedway, and tonight, it'll be what stands between the Bluegrass Iracing Series before their season finale on home soil at Kentucky Speedway, as we get set for a thrilling night of action at NASCAR's oldest venue. Hello everyone, and I'm Noah Carmichael, welcoming you to beautiful Ridgeway, Virginia, here live on PitStop TV. As always, we're live on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook as we get set to bring you live flag-to-flag coverage of the penultimate round of the inaugural Bluegrass Iracing Series. Joining me in the booth is the one and only Mr. Joe Donahue on the mic, and taking over production tonight is the amazing Trey Shuttlesworth. After an incredible showdown at the Roval 1 week ago, we finally see a new points leader as Justin Winters comes off his first win of the season since almost 2 months ago at Atlanta. He now holds a 6-point advantage as they prepare to put on another great night of action as the season prepares to draw to a close. Joe, as the drivers get ready to do battle at the Half Mile of Mayhem, what do you think we can expect out of these competitors here tonight?
Well, Martinsville's always been one of those tracks where the bumping and banging, the rubbing is racing comes to fruition. These drivers are coming to the end of their seasons, and also keep in mind that with 2 drop races, this is the first race where the drivers themselves will start to materialize those drops. So for some of these guys, they're going to be trying to push really hard and try to get a good performance tonight, try to get their worst result of the season dropped, and they're going to be pushing hard at the start and at the end to try to make that happen. So some of these guys are going to be kind of conservative, some of them are going to be a little aggressive. Martinsville always brings some aggression to the table, and by the end of it, everybody's trying to win, everybody's trying to do what they need. Get a couple more points, get a couple more positions. Hopefully everybody keeps their nose clean for the starting stages of the race and get as many cars as possible. And I'm just hoping that everybody keeps it clean and keeps it cool. Hopefully we won't see any tempers flaring, hopefully we won't see anything crazy going on, but we're still looking forward to having a good race tonight.
Absolutely. John Kendrick currently fastest here in practice, about a 10th up a wide bracket, which on most tracks would be not that much of an issue, but here at a track like Martinsville, it is such a huge gap of a tenth of a second just because of how small this track is. You talked about the drop weeks. That's exactly how Justin Witter was able to take the points lead due to, I don't know if we have it because Trey with his not exactly having as much resource, I believe Andrew might not have the points with him to be able to pull it up. And there it is exactly, so thank you for just proving me wrong. So obviously you see the 6-point advantage, 349 points is what Justin Witters has. And you see right there, the shake up at the top, 6 points now is what separates them. It has been about at least 1 or 2 points, even tied at some parts of the season. That's how close Justin Witters and Travis Miller have been compared to the rest of this field. Justin Witters does have his 2 drive weeks active as much as everybody else, but he has it an even bigger disadvantage because he suffered at Pocono due to a terrible pit race strategy that ended up costing him the race, having him run out of fuel. He ended up running out 16th, which was an abysmal finish compared to what he usually has. Travis Talladega, another track, where he had pit mistakes due to what we all believe was just an incident on pit road with Iracing Systems, maybe, where he wasn't being picked up enough fuel, which drops him down the stairs as a rocket. So now he's in here trying to rebound. He needs to keep up. It's 2 great races. He might walk out of here the champion of the series.
Yeah, and especially like you said, we've come off of the Roval, we've come off of Talladega, we came off of Bristol, and now we're at Martinsville. All of these tracks are different, dynamic, and unique, especially when you consider the regular NASCAR championship with all of the courses that the actual Cup Series would attend, but then bring it to the Bluegrass guys out here running here on iRacing. These tracks are so different, and for these drivers to be continuously staying up front, they've really shown their stuff. They've proven they are some of the cream of the crop here, and with Justin Winter's win last week, like you said, just an awesome result for him, and it brings our championship closer together. These point standings you see on your screen account for the 2 drop weeks, as it says at the bottom in the little denotation, but for some of these guys, they're not looking at it as this standings, they're looking at it as the points so far, and in that regard, Travis Miller does have the championship lead, but like Noah said, that is with the drop weeks disabled, so that would be counting all 10 starts so far. So depending who's looking at it, they're going to be thinking that the point standings are a little different. But we're certainly excited to be here, and yeah, like Noah said, it's been just a dynamic couple of races, so hopefully you guys got down the hatch.
As you see there, as you saw there with the point standings, right now about the top 5 all have at least 2 wins on the season. The only other 2 that do have a win was the 28 out of Lancaster, one that's through their Talladega, and then the number 6, which has been so long since I've seen his name. I want to see if he's even in the race here tonight. He hasn't shown up in a while. I believe he has decided to opt out of it. But the 6th car, which I'll try to find the name, he's the only person who won here, but he's outside the top 10 of points because of the lack of starts that he's made. Which just tells you how hard it is to win in this series, where the top 5 all have 2 wins already in the season. Or actually the top 4 have all 2 wins. But even then, it's just so much of a disadvantage because those two, while they have those 2 wins, they have fallen off in the other races. John Kinder had a late race rebound, or late season rebound, which has boosted him to the third of the point standings, where he now sits in a very good position to maybe go out there and have a shot at the championship. He still sits 20 points back, which is in the last 2 races really hard to make up. But something he's going to need to do to try and get it done. He's the only person that can actually bring a fight to Justin Winners and Travis Miller, as those two sit close. Brandon Robertson still running hard out here to try and make something happen.
Yeah, and that's what starts happening at the end of your season. You start to slowly bring people to the top that aren't quite going to be able to pull off a championship, even if they won both races. You just know that they're not going to be able to get enough points to surpass the current championship leaders and such. So that has begun for this series, and like you said, we're down to Miller, Winters, and with Kinder having a shot, but even still, these guys aren't going to want to be letting off and just parading around here at Martinsville. They're going to be racing for the win. They're going to be racing for points. Any points they can get to get their own championship position advanced. There's still going to be plenty of guys racing each other for championship spots here. So not just for the front 3, the championship leaders, but throughout the course of the entire field, with all of the different drivers in their respective point standings. There will be plenty of guys still fighting really hard to try to get a couple more spots out of their racing, try to jump some people on pit lane, try to work some pit strategy that are going to be pushing to go up to the front to try to get as many points as they can.
Martinsville is such a tire eater of a racetrack where it's be more, you don't really need to worry about your fuel because of how much fuel you're not using a lap compared to other tracks. So it's going to really be a question of how much these guys want to do. Obviously, they're only going to have fuel ups even then. I would say it's roughly close to 100 laps just because of how short this track is. So tires, they get a big question on how these drivers are going to prepare for this. Because usually you can just look at your F4 and then be able to realize, okay, I need to come on this lap. But now you got to know how far can you stretch these tires and who has tested that theory to know how far they can take it, especially in these practice sessions. I really don't exactly know where we're going to sit. I might look here at the practice laps that these drivers have set. But right now, Matt Grenier looking to take the pole here at Martinsville, currently sitting on top of the board with a 19.3. Adam Lancaster, your Talladega winner, sits on the outside, currently with a 19.4. And then how about John Kinder, teammate to the 28? He currently sits third. Trying to pull that 3-point gap down to take home a shot at the title going to Kentucky is Justin Winners back to 6th. And then Travis Miller with a not so great qualifying result. He's going to start back right now as AC Nathan Bauer, who's been such a he's been on a tear in qualifying, just can't get it done in the race. Maybe he can pull off something and try to get the top 5 as right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Noah. So these guys are definitely going to be pushing. And like you said, Travis Miller is somebody we normally see up at the top of the field. Starting 9th is not a bad thing at all, and I wouldn't be disappointed with starting 9th. Although now Nathan Bauer's put up another lap time and has pushed back to the 10th starting spot. With Jack Bauer still yet to start a lap, we're on board with Nathan Bauer. He's out of turn 4, second lap. Out of it. He does. He goes to 5th place on the starting grid. So, yeah, like you said, it's going to definitely help John Kinder. And we know some of these guys come out and they just practice a little harder. They work a little more to try to put together a good lap time. Matt Grenier, I think he's proven to us with the time he's posted that he definitely put some time in on this simulator and tried to put something together for the 15 car to maybe make some late stage noise in the championship, maybe get himself a victory finally in this season. Jack Bauer, you see him pulling out onto the racetrack and then disappears and starts back up into the lane again. Takes another shot at his attempt.
And while we wrap up here with qualifying, let's just take a moment to pay the bills real quick as we get set for another thrilling 250 lap race here at the Martinsville Speedway. Starting off tonight, we're going to start with Tucson Sound our your picture. So we'll try the image one where we will custom create a beautiful frame with high quality cameras with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. Sound art. You get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com for additional information.
We also want to thank the Brp Iracing Series. The Brp Iracing Series is a series run and owned by Northeastern Big Block Modified drivers, crew guys, and fans. If you're looking to get into dirt racing or already are, this league is for you. BRP is a fixed setup league running 360 winged sprint cars, which are covered on PitStop TV's next season, and a Pro Late Models Championship. The Brp Iracing Series will be adding big block modifieds to their lineup upon the release to the iRacing.com service, which has already been started here. So you can find the BRP Series on their Facebook page. Brp Iracing Series, search it up, check it out.
Next up, we're going to permanent makeup and cryo and main. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy. At permanent makeup and cryo and main, you're actually a certified micro pigmentation finishes, provide professional, safe, and personalized services. You can contact permanent makeup and cryo and main at permanentmakeupandmain.com or call/text them at 207-588-8683. If you're looking for the best solutions for your permanent makeup concerns, give permanent makeup and cryo and main a call today and book a consultation. If you visit their Facebook page, permanent makeup and cryo and main, you can enter one of their monthly giveaways and enter today. Who knows, you might just win.
And of course, finally, we have to thank Whiplash Media, PitStop TV's parent organization, specializing in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, screen overlays, iRacing camera packs, and much more. Whiplash Media is also working on its presence in real racing, offering services such as photography, social media management, and public relations. Be sure to go check out the website, www.whiplash-media.com, for more information.
Left here in qualifying. As it stands currently, Matt Grenier is going to sit on the pole here for today's race. As you already see, David Brackett, he is 16th. I believe he's already finished his first lap, and he's not going to go back out for the second. So we'll just sit here and wait for the final 50 seconds as we get ready for tonight's race. He currently sits 16th with a 20.177. You get a beautiful look inside that Chevrolet Camaro ZL1, I believe it is. It was always confusing with the different Camaro specs they have, as we're now less than half a minute away for this amazing 250 lapper here from Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, and David Brackett always carrying that beautiful Yingling car. I always love seeing that out on track. The Pennsylvania beer, which, of course, if you live under a rock, you may not know, but your boy right here represents the great Keystone State. And to see a beautiful car like that sponsored by Yingling always makes me happy. So, oh, well, here we go. We're staging up for the start of this one, and we'll go ahead and bring you through the final official starting grid for this evening's Bluegrass Iracing Series event here at Martinsville Speedway.
Absolutely, starting on the pole, moving number 15, Snap-on Ford Mustang of Matt Grenier. Lining up on his outside is Adam Lancaster. Starting back in row number 2 is what you'll find number 21 of John Kender on his outside. Is number 33, Wyatt Braga, who we haven't seen much at the front here. This is great to see him here. Starting back in row number 3, it's going to be Nathan Maurer. Lining up on his outside is going to be the number 08 of Nicholas Noggle. Starting back in the 7th position is going to be your points leader, Justin Winters. Along on his outside is Brandon Robertson. And then rounding out your top 10 is going to be the number 100 University of Northern Ohio. That is Scott Fritz. And starting on the 10th position is Travis Miller.
Starting in 11th position is the number 188 Chevrolet. That is Wes Wiggin. And to his outside in the Jack Daniels Green Apple, number 113 Ford Mustang from Pennsylvania, Daniel Worthington. Starting in 13th, the Ally Chevrolet, number 48, that's Jack Bauer. And to his outside in the Tequila Patron sponsor, 13 is Brian Terry. Starting behind them, 15th and 16th position, we got the number 8 on the inside is Nick Mills. And to his outside in that Yingling, number 38, we were just talking about it, David Brackett. 17th on the starting grid is going to be the 05, the driver from Texas, the Lone Star State, is Joshua Abbey. And starting on his outside in his very first appearance here in the Bluegrass Iracing Series, we're going to make some noise for number 98. That's Chris Maxwell.
18 cars is going to be your starting field tonight at the half mile of mayhem. Famous paperclip, the Augusta Nationals of racetracks. We're talking about, just so many of the nicknames that has found its way into history books here in Martinsville. One of the old, not one of, the oldest track on the NASCAR schedule and still exists. And you see they make their way down the back straightaways. Well, now you can't see anymore because the back bumper of that Camaro. The figure eight pace car gonna dive down. We thank you for deciding to spend your Thursday night with us here on PitStop TV as we get ready for the second to last round of the Bluegrass Iracing Series.
Green flag, green flag.
Grenier's gonna get on that lap. Jumps out to a huge advantage and they send off into turn number one. Grenier's been chasing up by Lancaster and Kendrick in the third spot. And Nathan Mauer's going to pass him. Justin Winter's looking for it as Matt Grenier is going to lead the first lap here in Martinsville.
Yeah, they come out of turn 4 and down the front stretch again, and the front end of the field has single filed out. It looks like everybody's trying to stay calm and keep some composure as we start to kick off the first of many laps we have this evening. Matt Grenier running a little bit high through the concrete in 3 and 4, but no trouble. He's still got a big lead. He's actually still putting a little bit of time in between him and Adam Lancaster. Yes, he's the fastest lap of the race so far as well, even though we've only gone around the track twice here. So the top 3 is rounded out by these other 2 Fords, the number 28 and 21. With, looks like Wyatt Brackett's actually holding on pretty well with back end of the 21.
Yeah, that 33 Red Bull Chevrolet really starting to make some noise up here in the 4th position, kind of looking to reel in the number 21 Rips Ford Mustang of John Kinder. Adam Lancaster still holds on to that 2nd position as Nathan Mauer has kept his hold on the 5th position. Currently in 6th is Justin Winters. Behind him is number 2 of Brandon Robertson. And how about the number 22 of Travis Miller? He's jumped up 2 spots already up to the 8th position. If he gets around it, that could be the pass for the points lead depending on how it goes. But as it sits right now, Matt Grenier is the only person in the lap, so he does have 2 bonus points for leading a lap here in the Bluegrass Series. They do have the old-fashioned NASCAR point system where you get 2 laps for leading a race, and then I believe you get actually 2 bonus points for leading the most laps. So obviously, whoever leads the first lap here between these 2 is currently going to be the points leaders. Well, not actually, just the fact that it's 6 points, but still those 2 points will go a long way here in the series.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You saw on the screen before the race started, the points difference is actually 6 points right now. So any points can help, and certainly everybody's going to be trying to get those sorts of points, make their own respective advancements in the championship standing. So that's especially coming a level forward now that we're starting to get into front time. So all these guys are certainly. For the moment, Matt Grenier's been holding the ball. Adam Lancaster trying to, I guess, stay consistent and try to not make any early race mistakes here, although obviously the first couple laps of the race are probably the time to make mistakes going. Adam Lancaster definitely doesn't want to be making any mistakes here tonight.
Absolutely. Right now, you just kind of want to settle into your rhythm, get it going, and then start to take out that race lead, which is exactly what he has started to do. At about a 7/10 gap, and you see him go a little wide there in turns 3 and 4 with the slip up. That's kind of the line he's been running most of the race, even though we're already at lap 10 of 250. We already have 240 laps to go. Right now, he's been running that higher line, which I'm surprised to see. Most people try to poke it down there near the curve at the bottom. He opts to go up to the high side. So that's a little bit of embarrassing strategy that's allowed Adam Lancaster to reel him in, and now he's less than about, behind the number 15 are already catching up to the last driver that is a 98 and Chris A. Maxwell, the number 98. He is not that far ahead of these guys, so he'll be the first one. I believe he's actually making his first start in the series, as he is very well off the pace, and now that's going to be very interesting to see how Adam Lancaster might try to capitalize on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Lap traffic is always a factor when we come to the short tracks, and especially here at Martinsville with corners set up. So it looks like the 98 let everybody by on the outside of him down the backstretch. He's very respectful of the number 98 and Chris Maxwell in his first start to just let them all come through. He doesn't want to make any mistakes, and he doesn't want to screw up the way that this race is going to come out naturally on its own. But I've been watching Grenier also on the outside of this concrete patch here in the corners, running a little bit higher line. Could be trying to conserve his tires. Maybe he's using that as an advantage on the straightaways to gain a little bit more momentum. Adam Lancaster is still all over the tail of that car. So I don't know how much it's working out for him, if it's giving him an advantage in maybe tire wear, maybe obviously down the straightaway here, you can see him gapping the number 28 car. And maybe actually Adam Lancaster might have made a small mistake in turn 1 and 2, because the gap opened up to about a 2-car length there.
We have had a pass back there for the 5th position, move just to winners into the top 5, so he's starting to clear his way to the field once more after getting around the 971 mph. He's going to try to reel in number 3 White bracket where you talked about Adam Lancaster trying to reel him in as they get into the middle point of the circle. So expect that. We're going to see a couple pit stops tonight, so maybe expect around lap 30 to 40. Depending how far you guys are jumping first stint already about that lap 26 laps are ticking off as fast as you can, which is just how fast you guys are going. And now you're going to see Brandon Robertson go wide out of turn number 4. That's going to allow Travis Miller to almost take the east side to stay behind as he is all over the back bumper on that 2 Toyota.
Yeah, and we know throughout the course of this season that Travis Miller is one of those drivers who just got some perseverance to him. He's patient, he knows how to make moves safely but efficiently. He knows that there's a lot of time left in this race, so he doesn't want to do anything crazy. He definitely doesn't want to put a scratch on that Brp Gaston Sport Mustang quite yet. He's just going to try to be patient here for a little while. We've got plenty of time left, and he doesn't want to make any big mistakes that cost him a chance at tonight to win. Brandon Robertson made a small mistake in front of him, but obviously Travis Miller is going to be smarter than that and just kind of run where he is right now, try to find a good time that's safe and easy to get around Brandon Robertson. Oh, except he gave him a little love tap there in the corner, so maybe not quite keeping it completely clean, but not too much damage going to be had from a small bump like that. 22 car, so Travis Miller, you can see that he's on it, but he's not trying to make any big moves quite yet.
Yeah, we're already starting to see shades of Joey Logano, which is the real driver for that number 22 Ford Mustang, obviously with the shell and silver colors. Now you do see the fight for the lead heating up. Grenier is going to run wide out of turn number 4, and it's going to allow Adam Lancaster to make the peak to the inside. Grenier is going to protect the bottom. He's going to lose it up there on the top side because there's entry, because now that's going to allow Grenier side by side down that turn. He should have a line going into turn number 3. He is still holding on to it. He should have a better runoff, which is going to allow him a shot, depending on how well he gets it. Grenier is the better runoff without the fight is on for the lead.
Oh, look at Lancaster sliding, and he's almost sideways through the corner there. 28 car saved it. I think he got it running again. John Kinder got around him there. Wyatt Brackett didn't get around him, so Adam Lancaster is catching a replay here. Look at this, sideways through the corner. 28 just dove in a little too hard through turn 1, and the momentum carried the rear end of that car out from underneath him. He held on to 3rd place, but he used up a little bit more of his tire than he wanted to, sliding and burning off all that rubber on the track that he saw. So 28 car now going to be working on damage control for that, but he's got the 33 Chevrolet all over his on the tail, and I'm sure his gear, that number 33 car is pretty big right now.
Yeah, you're going to wonder if a little wheel hop is what caused that right over the bottom of the racetrack, as now you see Brackett going to be using the inside, and that half corner exit to get it done. But because of that mistake, that has now allowed John Kinder to take over the 2nd spot. Now he looks to be still about a half a second back, but he is currently the only fighter that can take it to the number 15. We know just how fast Kinder can be, also just how amazing he is on long run strategies. We always talk about this week after week, how he's able to pull these long run strategies out, pull a rabbit out of the hat to go take away these top 5 finishes and 8 flights of just winners and travels. Right now, that's something we can possibly be seeing, as we're almost 10 laps away what could be our first round of green flag pit stops. Back there in 3rd position though, Wyatt Brackett did finally get the run on the bottom coming out of turn number 2. He's going to take a peek to the inside. He's going to take on the 3rd spot, which is going to allow maybe just the winners. Nope. So he's going to hold on the 5th. It's now Wyatt Brackett.
Yeah, and Brackett just had a really nice run there on the number 28 car and took advantage of it. As you see the lead, no, we might have a lead change here. John Kinder looking down the inside of Grenier into turn 3. Grenier's going to give him the room, respectfully, with that Rims 1 Ford Mustang on the inside of the snap-on field. On the outside, 21 car trying to lead a lap. And I was just about to say, we're going to have to watch, because John Kinder is going to know those bonus points are available for leading a lap. And we've talked about this before in the broadcast already. Points are becoming super crucial for this number 21 team if they want to actually have a consistent shot at the championship. So getting some laps led and getting those bonus points is going to be extremely important. And I was about to say, is John Kinder going to be thinking about that? Evidently, he was. He was considering that as his need for running up to the front. He passed Mac Renier there, and now he gets to run as the leader here as we come to lap 30 here at Martinsville.
And as we were talking about that, some big lines going out there from the top of the 5. That fight's been going on for a while. Adam Lancaster taking back the 3rd spot. Justin Winters temporarily held on to the 4th spot after taking over 4th. Now he falls back to 5th as he ran wide to 34. So Wyatt Brackett, who had 3rd, I guess he ran a little bit too wide on these corners, and that cost him 2 spots. So just like Justin Winters said, look at this. 4th on back to about the 7th. Look, it's just like under a blanket, and that's exactly what we want to see here, as the 2 championship contenders are in the middle of all that frame. Nathan Broward and Brandon Robertson all trying to get the points that they can. Right now, the man on Easy Street is number 21, John Kendrick. He's currently starting to pull away as he closes in. Catch up to the tail end of the rest of the field. So now we're going to start seeing full lap traffic in effect as there's another car incredible drama here as they try to spread this gap as we're closing in again on that first round of pit stops.
Yeah, and we're on board here with Justin Winters, and these 5-6 cars right here seem to be chained together pretty nicely. They're all running it pretty consistently and close together. But you watch Wyatt Brackett in the 33, who was gaining on Adam Lancaster as Noah was running through previously. So we'll see if the 33 car has anything to do with number 28. We talked about maybe some wheel hopping, tire wear that came out of sliding through turn 1 and 2 like we were dirt tracking here at Martinsville, pretending we were at the Bristol Dirt Race, and maybe that'll have an effect on him as Wyatt Brackett has slowly closed in on the 28. But also, like Noah said, we're coming up on the first round of pit stops, and we know that the teammates 21 and 28 of Lancaster are known for running a little bit longer, unique strategy. So maybe we'll see that come into effect here shortly as we're closing in on the
Coming out of turn number 4 now, ready to approach lap number 36. He's still holding on to that race lead. He's now caught the back bump of the number 8 Chevrolet. He does not seem too keen right now to get out of the way. I think it's because he's trying to find the right time to do it. As you see that a little bit of a spirit, like a good spirited message. Oh, we have contact going up ahead as it almost results in a wreck between the number 38 of David Brackett versus Brian here. That could have been huge for number 21. I see the 98 once again getting out of the way, down like 5 laps down. They make way down the back straightaway as Elliott approached 38 Yingling Chevrolet and number 13 Tequila Patrolman Chevrolet as now again at turn 4. But because of how tightly packed close to one, it's allowed 15 to close up on the rear end as now 38 is going to let him by. But 13 is going to wait a couple laps maybe to try and spread out the lead for the 38.
Yeah, and while we were riding on board with John Kinder, we saw a little bit of a code brown with Nick Mills sliding sideways. He reacted to contact in front of him, and John Kinder was very lucky to get underneath damage. So as you see him going around the outside now of Brian Terry, who, unlike a couple of his other competitors, he has a right, as a car about to go a lap down, he has a right to defend, to stay on the lead lap. But once that's cleared, it's out of the game, and he's going to have to try to be respectful of the rest of the field. Mac Renier slid out of turn 3 through turn 4 as well right there. You saw him go a little bit up out of the groove of those 2 corners, so he lost a little bit of time that he had gained with this lap traffic situation on John Kinder, and now John Kinder's starting to gap it a little bit. We're on lap 40 right now, still waiting on those pit stops, but right now John Kinder's got some smooth sailing for a little while after they got through that small pack of lap traffic.
Now clear roads ahead. The nearest car that is a fight up a lap down currently is number 40, Jack Bauer. He's currently exiting turn number 4, just about a whole turn ahead of the number 21, as now we are within the pit window as they make their way off turn 4 down the front straight lap number 41. Kinder now up to about a 2-second lead over 15. The 28 starting to reel him in for the second spot. Wyatt Brackett is still incredibly holding on to that 4th position. What an incredible turnaround here after the last few weeks now, he's starting to make his name known as fighting with legs just winners. Oh, a shot given to the aid of Nick Mills. And the 19 Maurer, Nathan, a little tired of having the winners behind him. He just moves him out of the way. He's not playing nice. He's going to send it in on a lap car. A little bit of a risky move. Oh, now Nick Mills is going to squeeze it over to Brandon Robertson. So these lap cars aren't playing too nicely back here with the on back cars. Now, Travis Miller going to take a lead to the outside of here. Really lap cars.
Well, yeah, and oh, look at Nick Mills sliding through turn 1. Almost got into the side of the tied Toyota number 2 car right there. Travis Miller gets down the inside and then almost went 3 wide, but Nick Mills now gets out of the way of these two. He's going to let them by. He's going to have to relinquish that one. Lost a lot of momentum. He was fighting with Brian Perry, and that was for position in the midst of this group that was 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. Nathan Maurer probably got a little frustrated. He knows it's going to be one of some of the more important laps of the race here once we start seeing people coming through pit lane. You know that the in and out laps are crucial for these guys to make it through pit cycles and try to gain time on those competitors, which, as you can see, Nathan Maurer put a little gap between him and the 22 and 2 cars. Obviously, that was a result of the whole situation with Brian Perry, and as they've made through the lap traffic there, we were catching the number 98 as he was now 5 laps down, but Chris Maxwell still running pretty smoothly for a first time, just trying to be calm and not make any mistakes. Yeah, so Brian Terry and Nick Mills were just trying to make their own race out of grouping where they were stuck inside of some other guys who were running for higher positions a lap ahead of them.
Already about to approach lap number 50 here at the Martinsville Speedway. Third fight for second starting to heat up even more now as the number 28 of Adam Lancaster finally catches up to the back bump of the number 15 and head off into turn number 3 as McNair still in the second spot. He's starting to slip back a little bit, but not too much. John Kendrick has started to set sail on the race lead, starting to quickly approach the most laps led of the race so far, as he has led since about, I believe, lap 20 or 30 or so, as Jack Bauer moves out of the way to let them by. John Kendrick still going to hold on to the race lead. Mike Grenier still running back there in second. Adam Lancaster still in third. Justin Winters, Wyatt Brackett in fourth. Justin Winters in fifth. Nathan Maurer still in sixth. Travis Miller has taken over the 7th spot. Brandon Robertson still holds on to the 8th. Scott Fritz back there at 9th, and then Wes Wiegand in the number 188 holds on to the top 10 position.
So yeah, there's your top 10 as they completed lap 50 there. So we're a fifth of the way through this race. We're still not seeing any pit stops still quite yet, Noah. So we're wondering when we're going to start seeing these guys come down. Adam Lancaster is starting to show maybe Matt Grenier's car is a little bit used up, or at least a little more used up than the number 28 machine at this time. Wyatt Brackett and Justin Williams will put it on to those two as well, to the respective bumpers of the cars in front of them. You can see Lancaster running a little bit better line through the corners, but that's continuing to be a thing throughout this one so far, with Grenier running a little bit higher up in the concrete, maybe searching for a little extra grip, maybe running out there to try to make the corner a little bit less sharp and therefore use up a little bit less of the tires. He's still got pressure from number 28. I don't know what I'd be thinking if I was inside of that car right now watching Adam Lancaster just lurking behind him in third place throughout basically the entirety of the race so far.
And hopefully you guys may be able to hear us. I know that we're having some complaints over audio issues with the cars being a little bit too loud. Hopefully you're able to hear our commentary here tonight as we're now approaching lap 54 as John Kinder still holding on to the race lead. As the tire, you can see the tire degradation starting to show its hand as drivers are starting to slip and slide as Adam Lancaster seems to got a little loose on turn 4. Perfect example right there as he's now trying to fend off 33 of Wyatt Brackett as they now come over turn number 2. That's going to allow Grenier to get him some of the breathing room between. Still, John Kinder has just been a man on a mission tonight. We talked about he needs to try and close out a 20-point gap as much as he can. If he takes this win, that's going to do a lot of good for Kentucky. We might have a 3-car fight for this championship here.
Well, yeah, certainly, and even with Justin Winters in 5th place, Travis Miller in 6th position, Kinder's getting a lot of points out of it if he could get a win. If the race ended right now with the way things are, then that would certainly be a lot of help for the number 21 machine and John Kinder to try to fight for the championship. We saw Justin Winters on the tail end of this group, this little train, get into the wall at a turn number 4. Hopefully he's doing okay with that car. But yeah, Noah talked about it. They're starting to slip and slide a little bit, and that's what we would expect in the ending stages of the runs. But the drivers like John Kinder and Adam Lancaster, like drivers we know that can run long strategies. Oh, Justin Winters trying to get out of the number 98's path of motion here as they went out of turn number 4. Came a little bit far down on the inside of the front stretch, but to no harm to the number 88 machine. He's just going to try to reel in the number 33, who's reeling in the number 28, who's reeling in the number 15 at the moment. So the tires are definitely becoming a factor. I wonder if Lanier's strategy of trying to run a little bit higher might be paying off for him, though.
Yeah, the tire issue really started playing the factor. I wonder if these first pit stops are about to happen. We're already at lap number 60. We're almost towards the halfway point of the race, around that second lap of 125. So that halfway point really started to close in. I thought we were going to see maybe a 4 or 5 stop strategy going on here. No, we're maybe looking at maybe 1 or 2 at this rate, with how, maybe 3 even, with how much these guys are being able to run these laps on these Goodyear Eagles. They have just been able to pull it on. Kinder, obviously the one better than everybody else, because he has just taken over the race. He is now second to 5th, really starting to close down as Justin Winters again trying to take over the 4th position. Right now, other than that, it's been pretty quiet throughout the rest of the field. Back onto the field, first car lap down still is Jack Bauer in the 48 Allies Chevrolet. Nick Mills still a lap down to number 8, Brian Terry as well. David Brackett, Nicholas Nago actually has fallen back 2 laps down. He is currently fending off Brandon Robertson. And then Chris Maxwell, obviously 7 laps down, very far off the pace, but still trying to take as many laps as he can. As right again, we're just kind of waiting it out. It's been single file time most of the field. We have now settled into the midpoint of the run, or even the late point of the run, as it's just incredible to see how far these guys can take these tires.
Yeah, we started talking about it almost 20 laps ago that we were starting to be within the pit stop range, and I would have expected maybe a little bit shorter strategy too with the tires, but obviously these guys are working with dynamic strategies. They know that there's not any yellows happening right now, which is pretty cool to see, where everybody's just green flag racing. It's fairly clean. As just the 33 there tapped the wall a little bit. He knew I said the words keeping it clean and wanted to prove me wrong there real quick. Wyatt Brackett still all over the tail of the number 28. Yeah, it's interesting to see how long this run has been going on, that all these guys are staying really consistent with each other as well. You think that on a long run, better set up for the long run strategy, gaining time on the competitors. John Kinder has basically maintained a roughly under 2-second gap between himself and that throughout the entirety of this run, as that was the 88 sliding down to the inside. I think that meant he was hitting pit road. So Noah, we've got our first taker for a fresh set of Goodyears. It's going to be the number 88, one of the championship leaders, Justin Winters.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to maybe pull a little bit of a shorter strategy that we saw going on over mobile last week. Going to try and undercut him in pit road, because they actually looked back at John Kinder's practice. He ran 77 laps in a single stint, so I was a little bit off by the 3 laps. So actually, this is about the part of the race where you're going to start seeing pit stop around the lap 140 is where we're going to see the next one, as we're now starting to see the first taker of the leaders. Your points leader going to try and pull a little bit of a strategy move to try and beat these guys in the pit road. As still John Kinder in a race lead is now going to Travis the 5th position. White Brackett going down to the 4th position. As now is the only thing we always talk about is because of the fact of how short the track is. Pit stops here cost you about 2 laps. So now right now, Justin Winters is in a little bit of a danger zone, because if caution comes out, that is really going to hurt his race as we now get into later points. And usually when these pit cycles come out, that is around probably the biggest chance of a caution coming out, just because of drivers pitting, drivers staying out. This is so confusing because of how tight the pit road is on here. So right now, this is going to be the most interesting part of the race, to see how these drivers handle these green flag stops.
Yes, indeed, and you're absolutely right, Noah, about the laps down. When you come down pit lane, you lose about 2 laps. And on a normal 1.5 mile track, you probably lose about a lap making your pit stop, which you could possibly make up and then in turn have some favors made to you if a yellow were to come out. If you see Nick Mills as one of the takers now also come get some fresh skiddies. Got some other cars down on pit lane. But I'm kind of surprised we didn't see more drivers following into the pits. The number 88 machine, Nick Mills, pulling into his spot very slowly.
Caution, yellow flag.
John Kinder coming down pit lane. So Matt Grenier is going to retake the race lead as the rims one forward of number 21 is going to bring it in and try to get some service for that car as well. Someone else followed him in. And actually, we got a yellow. Yeah, we're actually under yellow here, so we'll have to see what that's about. Interesting. So did John Kinder get onto pit lane before the yellow came out?
I'm trying to figure out exactly where the caution came out, but we talked about it. These pit stops are going to be where it really starts to get interesting on where you're going to be stuck with it. And right now, Justin Winter is going to be stuck a lap down. Obviously, a lot of time, so we'll probably get his lap back. But really weird that the caution came out right now. It's going to be interesting. I believe that we don't even do stage cautions, so that's very interesting to see that we're back on the first time here tonight.
Yeah, and if we can see what happened here, that we have a yellow flow. It's Adam Lancaster. Oh. Wow, so he was diving down to pit lane, and we're going to see this replay back again. The 28 came out of turn number 2, and he's like, I've got to go pit. So he runs down the backstretch, and he slams on the brakes to try to slow that car down, take it to pit lane speed. You see him diving, and they just locked it up, coming down to the inside. Actually got really lucky he didn't make any contact with that number 33 that you saw just barely shoot across the screen. And the number 2 as well. I'm sure Brandon Robertson loved seeing that happen right there. But yeah, look at this. Just lost control of the car, slowing it down to come in pit lane, and brings out the yellow flag, the number 28, who's been running really well throughout the course of this one, which hopefully shouldn't have too much effect on him, as John Kinder is back on pit lane. So I'm assuming this means that he did not come and get service on his first run, or maybe he didn't check the boxes he needed to. But yeah, that's a tough break for 28. Although I think overall, they'll be able to dig this one back out pretty easily.
Yeah, hopefully he'll be able to make something happen throughout all of this. Just has been able to wave around and take his lap back. Maybe while we're under caution here, we might get a little quick commercial break in here. Just try and catch our breath after that incredibly long first stint here, as now we're finally approaching the first pit of the Super Racing Cup restart, as Matt Grenier has taken the race lead here at Martinsville. Currently, so Grenier is your race leader here under caution. Wyatt Brackett still running back there second. Travis Miller. Sorry about that, a little bit of technical issues. Back here, currently your race leader. Wyatt Brackett back there in second. As the wave rounds starting to happen, as we might already be at the 1-2-1 mark, as Wyatt Brackett going to restart second. Travis Miller going to take over third. Robertson now up to fourth. Wes Wiggin promotes himself into the fifth position. Daniel Worthington in sixth. Nathan Maurer seventh. Joshua Addy eighth. John Gear ninth. Lancaster in 10th. Now the approach will be 1 to go. Coming through turn number 4 for the green flag. Grenier back into the race.
Green flag, green flag.
There it is. Grenier back on the throttle. He's going to jump out to the race. Now here comes Travis Miller to take a dive to the inside. We will try and take over the second spot, as this could be a big move here in the championship for that 22 team.
Yeah, the 22 finally digging it back out and getting up front. The number 22 team, we know Travis Miller is one of those drivers who perseveres through most things to get his car up to the front end of the field. He's got to show for it, but he's got a ton of top threes so far this season. He's down on the inside of the number 33, Wyatt Brackett, to his outside out of turn number 2, is now behind him, and Travis Miller can start one hunting for that snap-on forward that's currently leading the way.
Brp Iracing Mustang, the highest he has been all race long. Now up to the runner up spot, not on the board for the race lead to try and get those 2 points zone help him a lot, and he tries to capitalize on the misfortune of the 88 Justin Winters, who still finds himself back there in the 11th position. He is going to get on older tires because of the caution, which is going to hurt him in the long run, but it is a benefit. You're looking at the fall back towards about the 6th, 7th position. It's now John Kendrick, because now he has those fresher tires in the rest of the field. So he's going to be able to make that strategy run longer, which is exactly what we see out of him a lot, is just being able to make these long run strategies work. Right now, so we're playing his favor as he tries to take a peek on the outside of the two Brandon Robinson, maybe try and cross him down here in front of Speedway, as now he tries to make his way to the field and take back.
Yeah, and Kinder's got the good tires right now, and he's running on the basically off the bumper of the number 2 machine right now through turns 1 and 2, sliding it out a little bit out of turn number 2 through into 3 now, and you see how close he can get to the tied Toyota. John Kinder is really pushing right now. He wants to get right back up to the front end of the field and try to make sure that Travis Miller doesn't get those bonus points. He knows that those 2 points will be in favor of the 22's chances against John Kinder's effort to stay in the hunt of the championship going into Kentucky, but he's getting held up a little bit in this small train of cars right now running down the front stretch. They complete lap 82 onto lap 83. Wiggin, Robertson, Kinder, Power, and Lancaster are the 5 cars you see on the street right now down the back straightaway again. They bring it out a little bit, space it out, and into turn number 3 it all bunches back up. John Kinder still trying to get around that 5 wheel.
Still knocking on the board. We see back there Kinder and Robertson fighting on for the top 5 spot. Nathan Maurer fighting out of Lancaster back there for the 7th position. But that 21 is starting to a little bit get impatient. He's going to again try the outside. We don't really see that work much here on Martinsville. We have passed on the top side because of how much Robertson is protecting the bottom. It's really all he's going to be able to have a shot to do. They try to get it done on the top side. He has the run going to turn number 2. Has the run down the back trailer. Let's see if he can get it done in turn number 3. They are still door to door as they make their way through turns number 4. Lancaster is able to close the gap down. He is on the back. Probably going to help it as now Kinder has cleared him for the 5th position. As now he has to try and go around the outside of West Wiggin now for what is the 4th position.
Yeah, Kinder used the momentum on the top side to his advantage. There is now Adam Lancaster dives in on the tongue twister. Number 2 tied Toyota. Brandon Robertson gets pushed up a little bit from that 28 machine, sliding down the inside. He is going to be taking over the 6th position as John Kinder is still looking at Wes Wiggins' tail end. He's trying to see if he can hit the same move on the 188 machine and try to get past, bring himself to 4th spot in the grid. That would just get him ever so closer to returning to the race lead. And he's really going to try to push it to see if he can do so. He's got his teammate Adam Lancaster behind him, and hopefully they'll be talking with each other, maybe giving each other some pointers here, as now Wiggin off the bottom side doesn't have anywhere near as much momentum as John Kinder on the top side. Into the corner, a little lock up for Wiggin, and John Kinder's going to make it a cleared attempt at a pass through on the 188 machine.
Wiggin now starting to fall back through the field. Adam Lancaster now going to try it on the top side. He's going to get around him for what is now the top 5. Kinder now has someone to 4th. And you see the fight for the race lead starting to heat up. Travis Miller going to try and make a run for that lead as they make their way down to turn number 1. They have started to open up a gap to the 33 wide bracket. About 2 seconds. The gap between 2nd, 1st, and 3rd, but that 22 Brp Iracing Mustang, which we have seen so much out of him this season. He was strong at Bristol for most of the race, so he has proven himself to be one of these short track ringers. Now they make their way to turns 1 and 2, but another short track ringer is the guy we've been talking about all night, John Kendrick. He won back at Bristol, and then Brandon Robertson, he won it back at Richmond, the first short track of the season. So there's a lot of short track ringers out here who have been able to get the wins on the small ovals, and they can really do it here. Right now, Miller, who is looking to make his 3rd win of the season as the year ahead in Kentucky, which would really help his points championship, still has yet to lead lap as Grenier has just been so defensive of that race lead here.
Well, yeah, and we know Travis Miller is going to be trying to make that pass and get those points. But you talk about Travis Miller having 2 wins on the season so far. Those were 2 super speedways, obviously very, very different super speedways, being Daytona and Pocono. But Travis Miller has gotten some really great results. He finished 3rd at the Roval. He's finished 3rd at Bristol too. He's proven he is a renaissance driver, and he's very good at a lot of different types of tracks. And he's proving that right now, staying right on the tail of the number 15 car who's leading the way. But there's some momentum there for the 22 into turn number 1. He's all over the rear end of that car and down the backstretch again. We'll see if Travis tries to do anything into turn number 3. No,
Caution, yellow flag.
Behind Snap-on machine. Oh, there's a car spun on the inside of the track. A yellow flag's going to come out. That was Nicholas Noggle backwards in turn 4.
Yeah, car back as we wait to see the replay here. I see now going on the back straight. Nick is going to try and take things to the inside. Ooh, shoots it in real deep, loses control of the race car, and it just door slams the 09. That's going to, he sends him around into the path of Jack Bauer, who moves him out of the way, and then you see David Brackett behind there. But man, that was a very dangerous way to reach on the racetrack. I think he's run out as that almost took out to 33. But man, that was a really, really deep send to try and pull for the 15th position. I understand trying to get position, but that was a very late send to try and make a move like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Nick Mills dove it in there really nice. And you can make that work. Don't get us wrong. You can certainly make that work. It's just a tough pass to make. Obviously, Martinsville is one of the toughest tracks to make passes on cleanly in the entire series. And yeah, Nick Mills just dove it in a little too hard for what he was getting out of it. And Nick Noggle, unfortunately, just a passenger to that one. Jack Bauer, nowhere to go. Unfortunately, the ally number 48 is going to have a little bit of damage as a result of that one. Fortunately for these guys, we don't really need the aerodynamic abilities of these cars as much when we're running at the slower speeds here at Martinsville. So hopefully not too much damage, and hopefully these guys can keep up running, possibly not even using fast repairs, just kind of dealing with what small amounts of damage they may have, especially Nick Noggle, only having damage on the inside of the left side of the car. He may be able to just be clean with this and run out the rest of this race okay, assuming nothing else major.
And then they do have the one fast repair to their advantage, so in honesty, you might want to save that for a later wreck. But during that caution period, though, so we had some leaders make their way down the drivers with Brp Iracing and John Kendrick once again cleaned up back there for some service to get those fresh Goodyear Eagles, so that's going to allow him to again have fresh tires to maybe a longer stint out because of how short the field is. There's 13 cars on the lead lap. That is going to put John Kendrick back to the 12th position, as it's going to make it even more interesting to see how Kendrick wants to play this out for the late part of the race. He was hoping for a long green flag record to be able to make the strategy work.
Yeah, absolutely, and we know that that is something that we've seen in the past work out. John Kinder and Adam Lancaster used it at Pocono, and they had a very strong showing there. And we know that at a track like Martinsville, you can play with that kind of stuff a little bit. And it, you can be dynamic, quick to change your strategies here, especially when you consider yellow flags as part of the option. We can see that it might bring more yellows precautions. We might start seeing some more of these together. These guys will get a couple laps in red, yellow, and back to green. We're about to go back to green. Shortly, these guys will get line back up to the back shortly. This car's lights are off, so when we come out of the corner, we'll be starting lap 100. We'll be going back to green flag racing. There'll be 150 laps to go for the drivers. Who's going to make the run? Who's going to get as the night goes on.
Green flag, green flag.
Leading us out of turn 4 back to the green flag.
Still, your race leader has to make their way down into turn number 1. Travis Miller back there for the third spot with Adam Lancaster. Here comes Miller taking a peek to the inside. He's going to try to make a move for the race leaders to make way off of turn number 4. He does have momentum. He's going to take the position and get those 2 bonus points. So the stands right now, as far as we're aware, the gap is now down to 4 points for the championship fight between Travis Miller and Justin Winters. Justin Winters back in the 5th position, so not that far behind, but 1st through 5th, he holds on a position, takes the win. Now, we should give Miller, obviously going to Kentucky, so this is a big moment of the championship between these two, and now he's going to try and take away the most laps led from John Kinder, who is trying to make his way back up to the field after restarting back in the 11th position. He is now dropped down to 12th as he's going to try and make his tear. Right now, Travis Miller, the man in position, as he takes over racing here at lap 103.
Well, you said man on a mission, and you mistook Justin Winters and Travis Miller's names, but I would argue Justin Winters might be the man on the mission right now. You see
The yellow
running
flag is
in
out.
spot. He's in that train of cars. You can see off the tail of Travis Miller over here as we come out of turn number 4. He's pushing hard, and Justin Winters now sees and knows that both of the competitors he's got in the main course of this championship are, as we're under yellow again, they've both gotten a couple bonus points from leading laps, but he hasn't yet, and so I would say Justin Winters is going to be pushing really hard. But we've got ourselves a yellow here on lap 104. We're going to have to check out what happened.
Ooh, it involved John Kinder, the championship contender. He gets involved in an accident on lap 103 going into turn number 1. You see him there backed into the wall. As we're going to try and get a replay and see number 13 of Brian Terry. Oh, no, that is not what we want to see at all. They're fighting back there for about 10th position going into turn number 1. I think he just got way too late on the brakes, and that just spun him right around, and that is major implications for what could be a championship-changing race. If John Kinder can take this win, that would do huge momentum for his championship hopes going into coming. That is going to be big to try to come back from for each other. Look at that, just a really deep send, and just backs into the wall hard.
Yeah, that really was a deep send for Brian Terry right there, and I don't know, maybe he could have made that corner. He would have definitely been running way up high in the marbles in that turn if he hadn't had John Kinder in front of him when they made that contact. But I don't know, Brian Terry might not have made that turn anyway on his own there, obviously hitting the 21 car on his way in, and that gave him that relinquished some of the momentum in that number 13 car so that he was able to make the corner fairly okay on that top side in that replay. But talk about the effect on John Kinder. He was 3rd place in the championship. He's the last real fighter we got to try to maintain a position to fight with Winters and Miller for the championship, and that one might have done him in. Maybe not. We got plenty of time left. There's still just under 150 laps to go. Plenty of time to get that number 21 back up to the front. We could see a couple more cautions. Maybe we'll get some pit stop strategy out of the 21 and 28 machine working together. There's plenty of time left, so I'm not completely set in with John Kinder being out of this one quite yet, but this is definitely going to hinder him a lot. John Kinder would like to have been making up time rather than losing it, and now he's going to have to fight to get back up there again.
So as they make their way down to turn 3 and 4, we should get the one to go here. As now they make their way to turn 4, so he and Joe first and lose it back to second. We should take the pace car lights to get out here to signal that one to go. Yes, indeed, we are. They're going to take the way to turns 1 and 2. So now we should be on their screen is now being set to go back racing here one time around. Hopefully, maybe to get some more green flags lap in, but sadly with the way things are going to these late sends, and I don't want to blame it on Brian Terry saying that was just a bad move. It could have been just a little bit of wheel hop. That's something we can see a lot of with these cup cars because of iRacing that allows you to have the opportunity to do a wheel hop as I make way through turns 3 and 4 once more. Now, Travis Miller going to be the car in control for the restart. And it's
Green flag, green flag.
Front row is now Travis Miller trying to show him how it's done on a restart as he just drives away from it and gets about a 3-car length lead. But Matt Grenier trying to make something happen to try and send it in deep to hold on to it, but it's not going to work as now Travis Miller going to look to run away here with the race and the restart.
Yeah, you saw Grenier run it really hard into turn 1 and 2. You saw how much of a gap Travis Miller got off of that restart. Travis Miller just really knows how to get off the line on restarts.
Caution, yellow flag.
Especially on these short tracks. But Wyatt Brackett in behind the number 15, he thought he had a chance to get around on the inside of that car as he was coming through turns 1 and 2, and a little bit squirrely as we're under yellow again here on lap 110. We're going to have to check out and see why the yellow flags have returned to the racing surface for the series. So we only got a few laps in. That was contact with Winters and Lancaster. And then, okay, here's where the yellow's actually coming from. Brian Terry and Joshua Abbey, number 13 and 05 cars making contact into turn number 1. And I'm not sure which of the two of them got the worst of it there, Noah.
Yeah, again, just Brian Tierney, number 15, some big issues that was in there. Gives a shot to the corner, and Joshua Abbey can't do anything about that. Then gets Nick Mills involved, almost gets John Kinder involved again, who has been trying to rebound from that last spin. As now Brian Terry finally gets the front bumper ripped off of it after how much contact he's had with somebody driving. But man, that is not been a too good restart for that number 13. As now it's 2 cars that he's backed into about the same place. In turn number 1, actually, that's something I find interesting. It's about the same spot that John Kinder backed into the wall. So you're starting to get acquainted with the markings on that Cup Series while entering turn number 1.
Yeah, well, you don't know. Maybe Brian Terry's just running his corners a little bit differently than the rest of the drivers in the field here. As you see, actually, John Kinder is in the midst of that whole thing right there. The guy we've been talking about, he's one of the last drivers still eligible for championship contention, and he was right behind Brian Terry when that happened. So obviously, he got through there much cleaner than Joshua Abbey and much, much cleaner than Brian Terry did. But I wonder if it's just a difference between Brian Terry's method of running this race and getting through the corners, if that's what's different going on right now between them.
So now as we get ready to maybe go back green, basically the 2 to go here this time, the thing that's really benefited now is Travis Miller. Because of this, he's been able to lead about 10 plus laps under the yellow here as they make their way off of turn number 4. So Miller now beginning to start to lead more and more laps as the race winds on. Now getting ready to approach that halfway point of tonight's events. Halfway point obviously going to be lap 125 as we get ready to go still going 250. So Travis Miller is your leader, Matt Grenier back there in second, Wyatt Bracker holding on third, Adam Lancaster still in fourth. Justin Winters runs it back in the 5th position. Scott Fritz is in 6th. No, Nathan Maurer is in 6th. Scott Fritz 7th. Danny Worthington 8th. Weswing in 9th. And then Brandon Robertson runs it back in 10th.
And just sitting outside of that top 10 is John Kinder. You see the lights are going out on the pace car. They're going to start going double file here down the front stretch. And we'll get to go back to green flag racing here. But John Kinder is just sitting outside the top 10 in 11th spot at the current moment. Very fortunate to have gotten through with that little incident in front of him last time through before the yellow started up. And so as they come down the backstretch, Travis Miller leading the way, as Noah said, into turn number 3. He warmed up the tires down the backstretch. John Kinder definitely not out of this one yet. We're coming through. We're going to start lap 116 on the green flag. Travis Miller gets as good of a start as he did the last time. And the answer is yes. Number 22 machine got an excellent jump out of turn number 4 and in through the first 2 corners. Once the green flag has returned, it looks like we're still under yellow based off of the scoring pylon, but these guys are still racing hard through 3 and 4 right now. And out of the corner, Grenier's still on the outside of Travis Miller as we complete lap 116, move on to lap 117.
Ignore that just for a second. It's not exactly hooked up with the timing and scoring. I think that is done manually, which just tells you how hard the production team has to work as they obviously doing that, trying to get these camera angles that we can see these amazing racing going on, and also changing the volumes, which you've been trying to fix throughout the night. So shout out to Trey Shuttlesworth. I know he's going through a lot right now trying to fix this all to give you the best broadcast that we can get. But still, the race still winds on. Matt Grenier has retaken the race lead. Travis Miller has now fallen back to second. And we talk about Travis Miller, he's been so good at restarts. This is one of the things he's amazing at in the series besides just winning races, is these restarts. If you get him in the lead on a restart, he knows exactly when to go to catch these drivers off, and he just sails away and gets a huge lead off into the corner. But sadly here on a short track like Martinsville, it doesn't do you much good because of how short of a run you have towards turn number 1, which has now allowed Grenier to retake their race lead as now we approach lap 120. It looks like a little bit of speck of dirt in the windshield. It look like there's a car entering turn number 1 as now they make their way down the back straightaway once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Noah's right about the number 15 machine just getting a little bit of a nice run, and they
The yellow flag
hold
is
it back
out.
up ahead. So he's going to start ticking off laps as the leader again, and maybe Grenier's still trying to get some bonus points and trying to move up in the championship.
And we are back under caution yet again. Sorry about that.
There we go, back under yellow. No, sir, we got to do what we got to do out here. So we got another yellow flag, and this time Grenier is going to be the leader under yellow. But let's catch it up and see what happened here to get us this other yellow flag.
This is going to involve the 188 of Wes Wiggin, the 48 of Jack Bauer. It almost involved the 21 of John Kendrick. That's another close call for the number 21. He actually did get involved. He got hit a couple times in this. You're going to see on the replay once we get that pulled up here. As you see, waiting around there, John Kendrick got a little bit of shots from the front and the back, so not exactly going to be in the happiest mood during all of that. You see, there it is. You saw it for a second. You see Wes Wiggin and Jack Bauer running side by side. Number 1, John Kendrick, who has just been struggling. He was running in 7th when that happened. You see, he actually gave a little bit of shot to Jack Bauer, which catapulted him into the 188. Jack Bauer comes back down the track and shoves him up into the 188, and then Nicholas Nago comes in and gives him a shot from behind for good measure. So, man, that's what he won, is getting all banged up here, as now we're fastly approaching the halfway point of the race, as he almost made it through there, but sadly just a late last-second hit, and that is what got him involved in all of that. He came so close to making it through that.
Yeah, he certainly did get close to getting through there, but he's just getting aggressive, and we know he's got to. He's starting to feel the pressure of trying to get back up to the front end of the pack. That is John Kendrick we speak of. So unfortunately for Bauer, it's just a little bit of a love tap from behind. Wiggin really didn't have much to say or do about the situation. He just kind of was there at the wrong time on the inside of Jack Bauer, who got loose and then collected the rest of them. So John Kendrick definitely pushing really hard right now, and you can't blame him. He's trying his best to get up through the points, playing positions, and try to make some time and position on Winters and Miller. So under that green flag run that lasted for a very short period of time there, he was just trying his best to make up more spots and get more points in his own bucket for the championship.
And while we have this quick chance, we're going to go to commercial real quick to give us a little bit of a breather, as we now are at the halfway point of the race here tonight. So stay tuned. We'll bring it back to you here for the restart. We're going to take a quick break and then bring it back to you once we go back racing.
Green, green, green. The yellow flag is out. Green, green, green. Caution, yellow flag. Green flag, green flag. The yellow flag is out.
Out is Travis Miller and Justin Winters. So how about this for a championship setup? The two guys fighting for the title, who at the moment are going to be the only two people that have a shot at the championship, they're now going to restart 1 and 2. So how aggressive are they going to be on the restart? Because I saw a little bit of a contact going on between Winters and Miller during that last run. So obviously Winters wants to get those 2 points to try and even it out with Travis here later in the race, as Miller has had a really lucky break with these cautions that have allowed him to start lead more laps to get closer to that halfway bonus points, as I believe we've actually missed out, because I think we had a little bit of a deal going on here with the, you remember the sponsor. It's been a while since I looked back at it. Yep, I believe it was the Beer Lab. They have a halfway reward for whoever leads the halfway point of the race. I need to look back on who that might have been to see who got that $10. But sadly, with all the chaos that has broken out here throughout the race, that slipped my mind a little bit. It's usually Angie who's on top of that. But obviously, with everything that's gone on, it's just been that at the forefront as we're just trying to figure out exactly how far this race has been going. It feels like it's going for a while just because of how many times this pace car has led a lap under caution.
Yeah, you're right, Noah. We might have to give those extra bonus points for most laps led to the pace car today, as we've just been cycling through yellow flags recently, and it has allowed the field to kind of goof up their strategies and change things up a little bit. As now, like especially you look at third place right now, Daniel Worthington really hasn't made any noise yet in the race so far, but now he's running in third position, as he did opt to stay on the racing surface instead of coming into the pit lane. He followed the championship leaders Miller and Winters. And if I was in a car on the racetrack and I saw the two guys leading the championship make a decision, I might want to follow what they do. They have proven that they kind of know a general sense of what they're doing here, and trying to figure out ways to stay up front at the end of a race. Although I had thought pitting on this yellow might be a good opportunity. We're a little under 100 laps to go to the finish, and that would mean that you could very potentially make it on only one more stop. And especially if we keep seeing yellows, now the field is going to bring it back together and start getting single filed up. The pace car's lights are out, so we'll get to go back to green flag racing here with lap 153 of 250. If you see that as an advantage for the guys who came into pit lane, and maybe work with a more sturdy strategy as this one's going to continue.
Green.
As for the restart, though, Travis Miller, as always, is making a great start off the run. And Daniel Worthington looked like he actually got a good restart as well on the inside of the 88. And maybe he's going to be challenging that Chevrolet for the second spot out of turn number 2. It does not go that way for the 113 car.
Yeah, because a lot of the leaders who have pitted, that has got even more of the guys who are running in the back out of the field up to the front. Daniel Worthington, one of the drivers, and now running up there in third. Scott Fritz running back there in sixth, and Mac Grenier, who was on those fresher tires, not even going to wait a minute. He is already making the moves. He's going to try and send it up the inside of the 113 going to turn number 3. It's not going to happen, but he's going to miss the apex, which is going to allow the 15. There's a big stack up back there in the midfield involving Robertson, Noggle, Maurer, and here we go. And now we have a caution again, just by judging by the radio communications. It must have been the 21 again of John Kendrick, as his night just goes from bad to worse. As he said it best on the radio, has everyone had their chance to hit me? So he's not a happy camper, because now he spins it through turns 3 and 4 and then just gets a piece of the 38 Yingling Chevrolet, and that's going to cause another caution here tonight. As we're starting to see the sunset, we might see the lights come out here in Martinsville, which we haven't really seen yet here on PitStop TV. So I was wondering if we were going to see it or not. We might actually get a chance here.
Yeah, but that yellow came from John Kinder, and you saw how aggressive he was into turn 3 and 4. He was running up on the high side, and he was making up time up there around Wes Wigand and Nathan Maurer. But Wigand actually lost it, locked up the tires going through turn 3, got into the tail of Nathan Maurer a little bit, but obviously with Kinder on his outside, and then that whole squirrely situation that happened for him, that was not quite something he could have controlled. Unfortunate for John Kinder to just be stuck in the wrong place, wrong time. But you want to talk about wrong place, wrong time. That number 38 of David Brackett, he was running so far. Look how far back he is from the 21 and 188 into turn 3. And then you see the little lockup, and now Kinder's loose, and there's just nothing he can do down there. He could have maybe tried to play a little wreck avoidance, but this stuff happens so quickly in front of these guys, and that Yingling car now lost the front bumper, which is unfortunate for David Brackett. He was trying his best to just make it through this race, not have any major incidents and trouble, but obviously he didn't quite avoid it this time, Noah.
Yeah, just a very unfortunate situation here, as now we're getting ready to approach that one to go once more. Travis Miller still your race leader. That is going to allow Justin Winters, though, on the restart to have a chance to maybe come back here and take that race lead after a poor restart. Back in here now, approach open to the third as now we get ready to go back racing once more.
Yeah, and you see Adam Lancaster getting the pass by, and he's going to be catching up to the tail end of the field. So he'll be back on the tail end, but he'll be on the lead lap, and it will hopefully enable him to... Oh, is he going to come down the pit lane actually here too? So he'll maybe get some repairs on that 28 machine and maybe top it up, put some new Goodyear tires on it, be in a better position to make some passes here on the restart. And you may want to go for one of those quick strategies of trying to make up a lot of time quickly, because we've been having pretty consistent yellows now. Every couple laps, the yellow flag returns to the track, and everybody has to slow down and run a few pace laps behind the pace car, who might be catching the extra bonus points for most laps led here if we continue this route. Currently standing, Travis Miller leading the way, Justin Winters, Matt Grenier, Daniel Worthington, Wyatt Brackett are your top 5. We're about to finish lap 160, but we are under yellow, looking to get back to green flag racing here very shortly.
And an update on your lucky dog scenario, David Brackett did pull it into pit road. He has left the server. So as it stands right now, we were talking about this. He's going to need a lot of caution to be able to get back on the lead lap. John Kinder is actually your lucky dog. So 4 more cautions, or about 3 more cautions, and he'll be back on the lead lap. So I guess it's starting to turn around way for the number 21, as I believe. Yeah, he is. So right now, David Brackett will be the first retiree of the race. So he'll fall back to the 18th here in 13 to 12 laps when Chris Maxwell passes him. As now here comes Travis Miller off of turn number 4.
Green flag,
Eyes on him as he's going to get the jump on the restart. He's going to leave the 88 in his dust as he now sends it off into turn number 1. Grenier with a late send, almost makes contact with him. He does give him the chrome horn as he takes off of turn number 2. As now we're back under caution once more, and it's going to involve the 08 and Nicholas Noggle.
Yeah, but that caution, I'll tell you who that's going to help, is that's going to help get John Kinder one less lap down. And like you said, Noah, he needed 3 more yellows. He's got one right off the bat. We didn't even get a whole lap in of green flag racing before we saw the 08, unfortunately, back that one into the top side wall in the middle of 1 and 2. So we'll have to check out a full replay here. Oh, and there's some contact with Chris Maxwell, who was on his inside going into the corner already. Actually, Nick Noggle, fortunate to not hit the wall at all, just slid into the corner a little bit. You see Adam Lancaster doing some wreck avoidance, and we'll see if on board with Chris Maxwell, if this was on him or Noggle. You can see, he just drove in a little bit further than he probably wanted to or needed to, and Nick Noggle was coming down to the inside line into turn number 1 to hit the apex. Not quite much he could do there. Sends the 08 car sliding sideways through 1 and 2.
Yeah, I don't know exactly why he was so aggressive on the restart. I mean, you're 12 laps down, and the closest car to you is 6 laps ahead of you, and he's out of the race. I understand wanting to race, but, I mean, you're not fighting for position anymore. You're kind of just running laps to run laps. So I understand wanting to maybe have a fight, but at the cost of now taking out lead lap contender who was running up in about the 14th position. That's just not what you want to do. So a little bit of not really frustrating, but a little bit of a curious situation there. Obviously, we're going to now back under caution. The 22 of Travis Miller is still your race leader. Justin Winter's back there in second. Grenier third. Brackett fourth. Worthington fifth. Fritz sixth. Robertson seventh. Maurer eighth. Bauer ninth. And Abbey has rebounded to the 10th position. Going on back to the field, just give you a full race rundown as it stands right now, just to get this out of the way. Was Wiggin back there in the 11th position. Nick Mills in the number 8 is in 12th. Adam Lancaster is currently sits on pit road. He is still on the lead lap as it stands, I believe. He might go a lap down here just because of where they are. No, he's going to try and get off and away here. He will keep his lap. Lucas Nagel, 14th last currently lap. John Kinder currently the lucky dog position. He is now 2 laps down in 15th. Brian Terry 4 laps down in 16th. David Brackett in 17th out of the race, 8 laps down. And then Chris Maxwell still on the track. He is 12 laps down in the P18 in dead last position as we get ready to perhaps get the one to go back racing here as we approach lap 170. Miller is going to be race leader with Winners on his outside.
Yeah, and these two have been leading the way and doing these restarts a couple times now. Everybody's staying out of pit lane. We're ticking off laps slowly but surely, and Travis Miller and Justin Winters have stayed up front with it. Grenier and Brackett have been holding on very solid, and especially considering the entirety of the race, those two have been doing an excellent job of staying at the front end of the field throughout this event. Travis Miller and Justin Winters have fought up to get to where they are after the very early stages of the race were pretty much controlled by John Kinder, who's now just fighting as much as he can to dig himself out of a hole and get back up to make some passes for points. Travis Miller off the bottom side of the corner, and you'd think Justin Winters maybe would start catching on to the little tricks that Travis Miller is using to gap the rest of the guys off the restarts, but it didn't work out for him at all right there, and Grenier actually got down the inside, and Wyatt Brackett is going to try to follow to put Justin Winters all the way back to 4th place. See if he does it before they even get to that back to the stripe. So that's 2 positions lost for the 88 in one lap.
And we are back under yellow once more. It is again the 05 of Abbey. So once more back under yellow here. Joshua Abbey, we're going to see exactly what happened here on the replay. Just like last time you saw a little bit of a snippet there. As he comes off the turn number 2, runs it by himself down the back straight. He missed the back bumper, which is a big aero problem that's going to make the back end really loose. Comes out of turn number 4, and then there she goes. Around she goes. Locks it up. Keep off the wall, but just because of how slow he was with the field around him, that has triggered a caution by the iRacing admins. Not exactly any human admins, but just by the service thinking that somebody has officially wrecked. So that is going to bring us back under yellow. See him there, just lock it up, avoids any contact with anything, just spins it, and now we are back under yellow once more.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for Joshua Abbey to have this happen. He's been having a struggling day here at Martinsville. He's gotten into a couple incidents already, but he's going to hopefully be able to trek on just fine. Shouldn't have too many issues as a result of this one. Maybe just the tires worn out a little bit on that 05, but he treks on, and he's going to keep digging and hopefully try to continue with this one. You see John Kinder getting another wave around, so that's only going to put him 1 lap down off of our leaders, who are Travis Miller and Matt Grenier currently, as that restart did not help the number 88 machine, and he actually took the opportunity to come to pit road because he is not in your top 10 as it currently stands.
We got a shout out to the comment section out here. I'm looking at it here through the YouTube chat. To anybody out there, tell us who you're cheering, tell us where you're from, who you're here for, and why you love being here. Tell us exactly the fastest 33. Why do you love Joe? Because obviously I love Joe as much as the next guy, but I'm curious as to why you love Joe, so give me an answer to that. So yeah, Travis Miller, still your race leader. Adam Lancaster, see on pit road. Scott Fritz and Justin Winters were on pit road. They now exit, as now John Kinder is now going to go back 1 lap down, so give it one more caution. He'll be back in the fight for this race win.
Absolutely. And yeah, you're right. No, I want to make a shout out to everybody watching here with us on PitStop TV. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying the broadcast and having a good time with the Bluegrass Iracing Series. we thoroughly enjoy bringing this series to you. These guys race hard, they race good, and we enjoy the action that we get out of the events we see. Tonight's been a little bit drudging with these constant yellows that have been picking up through the last 100 or so laps. We've seen a lot of yellows, but we appreciate everybody sticking it out, not only to the drivers and the teams, but to the fans watching here with PitStop TV. We appreciate you guys enjoying the show, and hopefully these guys can give you a good one. We're coming to about 75 laps to go, and it'll be interesting to see what comes of this current little ruckus we've been having with these consistent yellow flags. We're coming to the stripe, and everybody's starting to get themselves lined up side by side. I think that's a precursory telling us that we are going to be going one to go on the next time past the start-finish line. So Grenier's going to go to the top side of your race leader, Travis Miller, and we'll see if that's going to have a different result from what we've been seeing out of Travis Miller. He's been able to gap the rest of the field consistently off of these restarts, so let's see if the 22 machine is going to be able to do that again, or maybe if Grenier's going to figure out some sort of trick that'll keep him caught up to the 22 when they go down to turn number 1. Green flag's going to be coming back out, and there it goes. Travis Miller gets a nice jump, as does Wyatt Brackett and Brandon Robertson as well. The inside line did pretty good getting off of that one, and Wyatt Brackett staying on the tail, trying to get underneath the 15, down the back straightaway again. Wyatt Brackett, Matt Grenier, side by side into turn number 3, but Grenier actually looks like he's going to hold out a little bit on the top side.
Ooh, and a big problem back there for Wes Wagon. He was trying to avoid a car in front of him after a little bit of a late send in the corner. That has actually held up the 80 Justin Winters, made him turn wide. So now he's on the back straight. Oh, we have another wreck. It's going to involve Jack Bauer. It's going to involve Nicholas Noggle. Justin Winters on the brake, able to avoid that. We're back under caution of that 08 Toyota going backwards on the turn 3 as he's trying to find a good way. He's just going to let it go into the wall. He's like, I'm done with this. He's just going to let it wreck and turn it back around. As man, we're now back under yellow once again. And guess what, guys? John Kinder is now back on the lead lap.
Well, that's what John Kinder needed. That's not quite what Nick Noggle needed, but maybe Toe Mater gave him a couple pointers about backwards driving right there, because he sure as heck was going backwards. Yeah, he just cut up on the 48 machine a little bit there. You see, actually, the 05 dove in, and here, yep, there's the shot we wanted. There he is, going back and in turn number 3, the 08 machine. But yeah, it was just a little bit unfortunate to see the 08 coming up where the 48 was, and that just started a whole slew of cars into each other and wrecking, and unfortunately put a couple good cars in the wall. Again, Nick Mills was involved. The 05 of Joshua Abbey was involved here, and we're on board to see if we can see what it's like from the driver's perspective. Yeah, this is Joshua Abbey. Just got tagged from behind. The car behind him probably didn't see that there was a crash occurring in front of them, or at least didn't react in time to avoid making contact with him. That was actually John Kinder, who was unable to avoid the 05 machine.
Well, with that, he should get his lap back, and while we have the break here under caution, let's see if we can get a word with that 21 rims Ford Mustang of John Kinder. John Kinder is no more Carmichael here in the PitStop TV booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, it's needless to say, you've had a pretty busy night, going from running for the lead all the way back down to 3 laps, and now back on the lead of the lap. How is it feeling now to be back in a chance to maybe go win this race?
Well, I'm not on the lead lap. I got to serve a stop and go for another too many incidents. You keep trying to run the outside here, and people just can't hold their line. So it's been a rough night. It's been pretty miserable, to say the least.
Yeah, it's rough to say that. We've been having to deal with it up here too, seeing you guys running in laps under caution here. Obviously, with how tight this track is, what can you think the solution would be here to try and get another green flag running like we saw here on the first run?
Guys just need to be respectful of people. If they're on the outside, you got to give them the lane. Everyone's just running over each other.
All right, well, we'll try to let you go here as you get ready to maybe go again back to green flag racing here for a little bit more. Hopefully we can see you back up towards the front. Sorry about your your little race incidents. Hopefully we get to see you back up the front. Good luck out there tonight.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, we'll go serve our penalty. We'll probably go 3 or 4 laps down, try to make them up again.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. Well, that's going to be the 21 of John Kender. Obviously not the happiest camper right now, as sadly that is going to put a damper on the parade for the 21 machine. I know he has to go back down to serve penalties. So just as soon as they're looking to get good for 21, now it's starting to get even worse. Now we get ready to go 1 to green here. This time, Mine will hand it over to Joe to go call the restart.
Well, yeah, and you can't blame John Kinder for the situation he's in. He's just trying his best to get back up to the front end and try to compete with these guys a little bit. And yeah, I mean, if he's running into trouble with his competitors and having issues on the top side, I mean, there's not much he can do about that. But we're back to green flag racing, lap 181, about to begin with the 22 getting a great restart as usual. But Matt Grenier dove it into turns 1 and 2. He's way up at concrete, almost in the wall, out of the corner, but he stayed beside the 22, which is the first time we've seen that. And look at the top side. The number 15, Matt Grenier, just ran that car past Travis Miller. Absolutely pushed the guns out of that one. And the snap-on number 15 put him back into first place past Travis Miller.
Travis Miller now currently holding on to the second spot. Daniel Worthington trying to make the top side record. No, here comes Nathan Maurer. He's going to get turned around, parked in the middle of the racetrack, and that's going to cause another caution. And that's going to be good news for the 21 of John Kinder, who was serving that stop and hold. He might only fall 1 lap down because of that, so that might have been a little bit of a saving grace. We're going to see how that turns out. But, man, some big problems going on now for the 971 in the Maurer. He's going to go down the back straightaway. Scott Fritz going to get a run going into turn number 3. There he goes, going to give him a shot in the quarter panel, and then it's going to send him right around in front of Wes Wiegand.
Yeah, tough break there, and they were racing hard right there. You saw how intense it's starting to get. The laps are slowly but surely ticking down, and that does mean that these guys are starting to see the ending of the race coming up for them. But yeah, we're on board here with Scott Fritz as he came into the corner, and it doesn't look like he got into the corner too quickly or anything. It just looks like a little bit of a racing incident there with the 971 being right where the front right side of Scott Fritz's car ended up being. And I wouldn't put any harm or foul on in any of that. That's just looked like a little bit of a racing incident there. But of course, obviously for us, we're just continuing to get yellows. Brandon Robertson sitting currently in second place now as the 22 machine took the opportunity to come get some fresh rubber.
And because of that, John Kinder seems to actually have been saved by that, because he's talking about maybe going 3 or 4 laps down. I don't know if he wasn't able to serve because of the caution, but right now he's still only a lap down. So that might have actually saved him there because of that caution. So who knows? Maybe his luck might turn around. Going to see how it goes in restart. Grenier, though, your race leader once more. Robertson back there in second, your winner from Richmond. Not exactly in a fight for any championship, but still a win would feel amazing after the disappointment since Bristol. Wyatt Brackett back there in third. Daniel Worthington still on the fourth. And Scott Fritz and the University of Northern Ohio. I know a couple of buddies who were graduates of that college who are now actual pit crew members in the NASCAR Division Series. One of them is actually in the Xfinity Series. I think another one is actually in the Cup Series. So, we always talk about UNOH. They don't sponsor us, but man, it's just an amazing college to think about, and it's great to see them on the side, all over the wrap on that number 100 machine as we get ready to maybe go back green here within the next couple laps. Just the Winners has fallen back to the 7th position as of right now in that 88 Allen's Body Shop. Your winner from the Roval is just, man, you gotta wonder what's the plan now, because you guys haven't really seen a green flag run in a while. So how do you plan now for this? Because we're now approaching 11 o'clock mid-Eastern time. The current session time has actually gone over an hour and a half, so 186 laps, an hour and a half, as now we're going to double file up to go back racing once more.
Yeah, and we are running a continued long event here, and it's just starting to wear on these guys. Obviously, we're getting closer and closer to the end. From here, a little over 60 laps left in this one. Maybe these guys will start saying, hey, we got to get to the end of this race. We got to stay clean. I want to go home. I want to go out. I want to get a beer. I want to get down and go to bed. I'm tired. These guys might be starting to get towards the end of their patience with Martinsville here. So we could see the yellows continue as a result of that. We might also see these guys batten down the hatches and say, I'd rather not. And as the green flag comes back out again, Grenier got a nice run. Brandon Robertson stayed his outside up until they get into turns 1 and 2 here. Now Wyatt Brackett's going to have the advantage of the inside line, or he at least thought he would have it on Brandon Robertson as they came into turn number 3. Scott Fritz, Daniel Worthington, they're side by side through turns 3 and 4 with Justin Winters now fighting up behind them. And the Allen's Body Shop number 88 dives down the inside of 2 cars at once as Worthington slid way up in turn 1 and 2. And he's going to let the number 88 machine get back all the way up to 4th place right now.
Yeah, Justin Winters now starting to make some moves. He's now up to 4th. Wyatt Brackett hits the curving. That's going to cause a stack up. It's going to let Winters get on the inside. He's going to go side by side into turn number 1. Eventually, Taylor third. They're 3 wide entering turn number 1, and that's not going to work. Huge stack up, and now there's a parking lot taking place in turns number 1. John Kinder seems to have not been involved with it, so hopefully he doesn't have to go serve another penalty. But you know, he is going to lose his bumper and all of that. So man, this is a very frustrating night for that number 21 machine. He's obviously, you talk about, it's just been a very miserable night. And I think that's kind of the sentiment for a lot of these drivers here, as it's just been such a long night, as we're already now going to approach lap 200. So we're about to go to 50 to go, and we have yet to really seen a green flag run last more than 10 laps in about the last 100 laps or so.
Yeah, you're right. It's been a while, but here on that replay, you see Wiggins, Fritz, and Worthington went 3 wide at turn number 1. And Martinsville's so hard to do 3 wide in. It's just a hard track to try to be pushing 3 wide like that. Wes Wiggins just on the inside of Fritz, and they ran out of room. Nothing much they could do up there. You're on board with Jack Bowers. He watches, unfortunately, his racing line disappears into a cloud of smoke behind Joshua Abbey, who also was involved in that. He might have got a little bit of contact off of Abbey as well, but you saw Lancaster, and I think Kinder might have just tapped Adam Lancaster. We'll get a replay here from a wider shot that might be able to tell us the tale of what goes down with the 28 machine. And yeah, so actually the 28 turned because John Kinder was coming into that corner and couldn't slow down in time. Nothing you can do, and I'd put no blame on him for that, but just an unfortunate situation in the middle of the corner. Everybody's stopping, and you don't have the brake power to get your car stopped in time to avoid being a part of that incident.
Yeah, it's just a very rough night for a lot of these drivers, and now a big stack up as they see out of the window. Scott Fritz was involved. About half the field was involved in that one wreck. Adam Lancaster, you see Daniel Worthington on board with Joshua Abbey. Adam Lancaster was involved. John Kinder was involved. Brian Terry, I think, was also involved. Anybody with a pace car was involved in that one, as that was just a huge stack up. And it's just kind of one of the things, this driver, like what John Kinder said, we interviewed him, these drivers need to respect each other. And these guys have just been so aggressive since that restart. I mean, you're going 3 wide into turn number 1, and it's just not going to work out. He hits the curving, and just look at that. Sends them both around, kind of shades of the 2012 Martinsville incident between Clint Boyer, Jimmy Johnson. No, it was Ryan Newman, I believe. No, it was actually Clint Boyer, Jeff Gordon, and Jimmy Johnson, the last lap, the last restart caution that took those guys out of contention to win. Kind of the same incident here, except minus the curb, except at a curb hop, is now they're going to double up. They're ready to go green flag racing once more. Now on board with the 28. Just had nowhere to go because a shot in the rear is going to send him around. It's just, man, that was just a really rough incident to be a part of.
Yeah, and that one took a lot of drivers into it and involved a lot of guys in it. But with the amount of yellows we've had back to back to back with very small amounts of green flag racing, we could almost argue that we've broken that Talladega record that we remember with Jean Girard and Ricky Bobby of the longest wreck and longest caution we've ever seen, with all these yellows back to back to back. But Justin Winters, Travis Miller are back in the front of the field behind the pace car, obviously, who's led the most laps here. Nathan Bauer and Nick Mills, actually. Look at Nick Mills. He's all the way up to the second row. So someone who we've seen a lap down in this race. He's been involved in some wrecks. He has fought back up. He's stayed patient. And he's got that number 8 machine on the outside of row 2 coming to the restart here. So we're at 55 to go. And off of that one, Justin Winters shows Travis Miller what it looks like to get jumped off of the front line of the restarting grid. And the 88 machine gets a nice run out of it and goes out and away from the rest of the field into turn number 3. For this one is Nick Mills. Oh, Nick Mills looked like he brought a lot of momentum into turn number 3 there. And yes, he did. And it's going to show as he gets passed by 2, 3, maybe even 4 cars through turns 3 and 4. Oh, and he gets a bump from Grenier behind him, too. And that's going to keep that 8 car way out of the groove. and Grenier's going to be up there as well. So these guys are getting pushy and antsy back there. Wyatt Brackett capitalizing on it, as now he's going to complete that pass on Grenier, so long as 15 will relinquish it and stay in behind him, try to see if he gets around him again. But yeah, they're starting to really get into it, and that was Nick Mills behind them making contact. Fritz and Noggle making contact in turn 1 and 2. Oh, these guys are getting really aggressive here, Noah.
Yeah, it's starting real aggressive. We're starting to single foul out, so maybe we can see a little bit of a green flag run start to shape as now we approach the 50 to go mark here. Justin Winters now your new racer. He finally leads a lap and gets those 2 bonus points that he's been looking for. Travis Miller now chasing him down. So the drivers are a 1-2 in the championship or 1-2 on the track. Nathan Maurer back there in third trying to chase them down as well in the 971 as coming up with turn number 4. Winters, Miller trying to find a way to get around that 88 Allen's Body Shop Chevrolet off of turn number 2. He doesn't have enough of a run, so they're going to stay 1-2 as it is. Is now the field finally starting to single file their way out. As they might have lost picture every sec. There it is as it comes back to the field now. Nick Mills in the 8 car. He's just falling off the pace now because now he's going to get passed for the 11th position by the hands of the number 28 of Adam Lancaster, Wes Wiggin, who has fallen a lap down. He's going to pass them on the inside. So it's not for position, but he's still going to try and get his lap back here as now they send off into turn number 3. But still the race lead fight going on. And the 2 drivers who have been such class acts throughout this entire championship are getting ready to put on another amazing thriller here.
Yeah, you can't blame the lap cars for trying to get their laps back. They're just trying their best to get up there and try to gain a few more points if they can. But you're right about Winters and Miller. These 2 guys, they have a lot of respect for each other, and they both will say they love racing each other on track. A very good duo of battles, and the battles they create are very interesting, and they're very clean as well. Travis Miller and Justin Winters have a lot of respect for each other out here on the racing surface, and you can see they're gapping Brandon Robertson right now, so they're showing they're strong and quick right now. They're keeping this green flag run going, which is really nice to see. I hope I didn't jinx that, but Justin Winters now has 22 all over his tail end as they come into turn number 3 again. I wonder how long it's going to be before Travis Miller sticks his nose in there and see if he can make that pass.
He's trying to set up a run, but can't get anything to work because now they come off turn number 4, going to complete lap 204. Coming back down to the turn number 1 of 22 of Travis Miller. Trying to maybe pull a move kind of maybe diamond the corner. Didn't work. So he still falls off to second, trying to do anything he can. Again, the 98 of Chris A. Maxwell about to be lap traffic once more. So he's going to stay high, stay out of the way, and it's going to allow Winters to get by. It's going to allow Miller to get by. It might catch Robertson on exit of the corner, which is going to cost him a couple tenths of a second, but the fight for the lead still raging on as they make their way around. How about Nicholas Noggle? Been involved in a couple of accidents, now rebounds all the way up to 5th. So obviously you can see he took his fast repair, all a brand new Toyota Camry, one of the 2 Toyota Camrys in the field, I believe, is now he's going to try and make a move on Nathan Maurer up here for the 4th position.
Yeah, you do have to give a lot to these drivers who have been involved in wrecks. And I mean, if you want to talk about the drivers who have been involved in wrecks, you have to look at basically the entire running order. But Nicholas Noggle's still fighting strong in 5th place. He's on the tail of Nathan Maurer, who's right behind Brandon Robertson as well. And these guys, while they can't quite keep up with Miller and Winters at the moment, they're running strong as a group together. And they're waiting to see if maybe Winters and Miller have some sort of squirrel between the 2 of them, as we're less than 50 laps to go, and you can tell Justin Winters has Travis Miller all over his rear bumper continuously as they're ticking these laps away here, Noah.
The fight's still just raging on. Those 2 have not been able to separate from one another since the restart. Oh, here's the bumper to the 88. That's going to upset his corner exit, but it's going to hurt the corner on the midpoint for the number 22 of Miller, so nothing changes position-wise, but they're both going to lose time to Brandon Robertson as now they make his way off of turn number 2 as we get ready to now approach 40 to go here at Martinsville. We're actually might be in the stage now where if this stays green to the end, we might not see a pit stop just because of how many cautions there have been. I actually lost track of where the pit strategy kind of lies just because of how many caution laps we've been running. So now Miller still in second, going to try and make some sort of a run here, but just can't do it because when the 88 is protecting the bottom, you're kind of just running his pace. The only way you're going to get around him is by using the front bumper of that nose to get around him. But sadly, I believe he realized a little bit too early to be trying to doing that because then he has about 39 more laps to come around and get right back to you.
Yeah, Miller knows there's still 38 laps to go, 39 laps to go in this one, and he doesn't quite want to get that bumper out and make any big moves quite yet because there's plenty of time left on it. Maybe he can force Winters to make a mistake on his own. Maybe they'll just get a lucky run at some point and be able to move swiftly past that 88 machine. But there's too much time left in this one to really start pulling out big guns and the chrome horns for making a pass like that. Because you know that if there's time left, Justin Winters will gladly repay the favor. Although these two drivers have a lot of respect for each other. Oh, look at how close they came to getting into the number 98 machine there. Oh, that was way closer than comfort would have allowed it to be. But the 88 and 22, they kept their foot in it. A little bit of a gap now put between the two cars as we're catching a replay. Look at this.
Oh, my
Holy cow. It looked like the 88 might have actually hit the 98 a tiny bit, but Travis Miller got so lucky. Holy cow, that was close.
And we're now back under yellow once more as we approach the 30 to go mark. I believe it involves the number 8 of Nick Mills, judging by his speed on the back straightaway at the moment. Maybe not. I'm not exactly sure what happened here to have caused that. Nope, it might have actually been it, but not even really much of a spin to get a replay. Coming down into turn number 1, missing the front nose of number 8. He's going to come off of turn number 2. You get a little bit of a tail spin and lock up the brakes, and you see it doesn't really cause much. I don't know if there's something else that happened on the racetrack, but as right now, that's the only thing I can find that did cause a caution. So really weird way to bring it out, but now we are back under yellow once more here at Martinsville. I'm going to try and see if I can find anything else that might have caused that.
Well, you know, we got a pretty solid...
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you, but there was a wreck that happened involved the 113 in Worthington. I'm really sorry I had to jump in there, but I just found it. So it was Daniel Worthington. You look back on him going back straightaway. You see he was trying to get around the 98. He's going to come into turn number 3, but because of the upset way he entered the corner, had a lot of momentum. Locks it up, tails goes around. He's going to get hit by the number 48, come right back up, and then get hit by the 98. And just very rough way to go about it. You see the 100 locked up and having nowhere to go. So that's what caused the caution, not the number 8.
Oh, yeah, so here you see it. Worthington just got into that corner a little bit squirrely and cattywampus, and he just lost control of it. Jack Bauer had nowhere to go running his line through that turn as well. And the Jack Daniels Green Apple machine has been pretty consistently staying out of trouble throughout the event, just makes an honest mistake through 3 and 4. The 98 machine as well, Chris Maxwell got into it. Scott Fritz was trying to avoid the wreck, thinking it was on the inside of the track, and boy, did he get lucky that he didn't make contact too. So yeah, you're watching on board with Chris Maxwell through the corner, and just out of sight and now barely coming back into your screen's focus is the 113, hitting now the 48, sliding up, and then, where are we going to go from here? So the 98 machine made contact as well. And tough break for him. He's just been trying his best to get around this track, not get in the way, stay out of harm, and just get some experience under his belt with these Bluegrass boys, but not going to come out very cleanly from that one.
Yeah, just a really rough way to go about it. And then we're back under yellow once more. We're about to hit 30 laps to go. So we're finally coming into the closing stages of the race. Starting to get a little bit of a good thing going on here, as now Justin Winters has made the move to pit road. So he came down for service, going to get, I believe, new tires. He's going to restart back up there in 7th, give a little bit of a brain to Travis Miller, but not too much because now Nathan Bauer is going to start alongside with him. Thanks to the last few cautions, though, John Kinder has finally got his laps back. He is back in the fight for the race lead. He is up to 9th, still missing the nose of that 21 Rims 1 Ford Mustang. But again, he's now back in a position where he could possibly have a shot at maybe taking the win here if everything goes right. Obviously, there's a lot of damage. It's going to be hard to do, but I mean, this is Martinsville, and aero damage isn't, having missing a nose isn't going to really do much. You can win here in a modified, you'll be fine. As now, here we go. Coming in the turn number 3, that Ford Mustang pace car going to take the dive on the pit road. We have a Mustang, a Chevy, a Toyota, a Chevy, and a Mustang. That is your top 5 as we make the way out of the final corner. Eyes on Travis Miller. He's going to get the perfect restart once more, and he's going to get the jump. Now we're going to get caught sleeping. This is going to allow Noggle to take over second spot as they head off into 1.
Yeah, Nicholas Noggle got a good restart, and Nathan Maurer just quite didn't on the top side there. So Noggle is going to try to trek down and get up there with Travis Miller. The 08 Toyota hasn't really been making a lot of noise throughout the course of this one, but you know who did in the early stages is the number 15 of Matt Grenier, and he has cycled back up to 3rd position right now. He's got Justin Winters just behind him. Nathan Maurer to his outside as he's going to complete that pass to get himself into the podium position right now. The 15 machine coming on strong, and he has been all race long. So we'll see if Matt Grenier is going to get something out of that. Justin Winters just barely didn't tap the rear end of his car, and as a result, Adam Lancaster came up to the lost momentum of the number 88 machine and gave him a little bit of a shove, and that's going to not quite give him an opportunity as the yellow flag comes out and will relinquish his ability to make a pass now. We're on lap 223, and another yellow flag comes out.
And it is going to involve the 21 of John Kendrick again, not as much as you think it is, but he is not a happy camper on the radio right now. You're going to see the replay. Coming into turn 38, gets loose on the top side at the marbles, and he spins right down to the path of the 21, and he's going to get a piece of that. So, having a little bit of fun here. Honestly, Kendrick not in a good mood. I heard on the radio. He's telling Justin just to come around and hit him because he thinks he's the only one that hasn't made contact with him. It just tells you the kind of mood that 21 has been in for most of the night. He has just had a very, very frustrating night so far. As now he's back in the lead lap, but still, it's just been a very tough night for that number 21 machine. He's been involved in almost every incident that's been on this racetrack, as he's trying to salvage something to try and get back into the points fight. As he was 20 points coming in, and it's just been not an easy night for that team.
Yeah, you can't blame him for being frustrated. He came into the night thinking, if I need to have a really solid performance to keep myself in contention for the championship, and now look at him. He's been involved in a couple incidents, a lot of which he didn't really have anything to do with or didn't have any control over, especially this one, just Nick Mills getting it a little squirrely into the corner, and the sliding starts, and he gives up on trying to run it out of the corner like a dirt sprint car, and just gives up and tries to regain control of that car securely, which in turn slows him down. John Kendrick was on the top side, running on the outside of Brian Terry, trying to make some passes on his own, and as a result, the car stopped in front of him, and he couldn't quite get around him. So John Kendrick involved once more. Hopefully not too much damage added on to that Rims 1 Ford Mustang, and he can continue trekking forward and try to just get to the end of this race. There's only about 24 laps to go, though, so with these yellows and a little bit more green flag racing, he should be able to get there.
As now Travis Miller, still racer, not Nicholas Noggle now up to the second position. It looks like Nathan Maurer has also come down in the tires, but he lost a couple on the recent run, which I didn't really think I saw much of, so he actually might have gotten tires on that last stop that has now put Winters back up to the 4th position. But now how about Noggle? We always talk about him with how many position wrecks he's been involved in and the rebound he's had in his last few restarts. He's now up to the 2nd position. Right behind him is the 2 guys that have been really fighting for the race to win all night long, along with Travis Miller, Justin Winters, and Matt Grenier. Matt Grenier looking for his first win. Justin Winters looking to keep the momentum and get his 3rd win on the season, and then Travis Miller looking to get his 3rd win as well, his first win since, I believe, Pocono it was. So about a month ago was when we last saw the 22 machine in victory lane, the Brp Iracing Ford Mustang. As here we go, back down on pit road, approaching 20 laps to go. It is going to be Miller and Noggle this time by. See if Miller can get another good restart. He gets it. He's going to sail away with about a car length lead, as now Noggle going to try and send it in on the outside as they head into turn number 1.
Through turns 1 and 2, the inside line's got a shorter run, but Nicholas Noggle's got some momentum on the top side, and he's going to try to use that to his advantage, hanging on to just barely onto that quarter panel of the number 22 machine. Oh, look at Justin Winters as we got another yellow flag coming on out, but I'll tell you what, Justin Winters was on the charge right there out of turn number 4.
And it's going to involve John Kender once more. as they come off of turn number 4. You're going to see there the 48 of Jack Bauer sends it in way too deep into turn 1. You're going to see him. Oh, the 98. Oh my goodness, 98. Looks like he clipped the wall. It's going to involve the 48. The 40 ricochets down and then just shoots it into 21. And again, the 21 involved in yet another incident. He's just not had an easy night all night long. It's just, look at that. That was a rough ride.
Yeah, just a tough break. And you said he came in a little strong on that corner. And yeah, that is true. Look at how much speed he is. We're on board with Chris Maxwell here, who just gets out of the racing line, loses control of it, and bam, into that outside wall. Unfortunately, collecting the rest of them. I think Daniel Worthington got through there cleanly. It looks like he did. But yeah, Jack Bauer came in with a lot of momentum on the outside of the 21 machine. And unfortunately, he would have been fine had it not been for that 98 car hitting the wall at that exact moment in time. We talk about it a lot tonight. It's just the wrong place, wrong time. And unfortunately, Jack Bauer got caught out this time.
And through all this caution now, Travis Miller has made his way down to pit road for tires. So now move Nicholas Noggle up to the race lead as Adam Lancaster is going to take over the second position in the number 28 Beard Lab Ford Mustang. Justin Winters in third. We're going to rebound up to there. Brandon Robertson moves up to fourth. And Scott Fritz, now in the UNOH Chevrolet, is in the fifth position as Travis Miller now falls back to the 11th position. So he's going to have a lot on his plate here in the last 15 laps, try and make it back up and take over the race lead if he wants to get it done. He's going to have to try and tear his way to the field and hope for a green flag run to be able to get it done here, as now Noggle is in the catbird seat to try and take his first one of the season here.
Yeah, and this is going to bring out some interesting strategy options for these cars, because I'm sure that a lot of these guys can go to the green, go to the finish without a break going in for tires or gas. I'm sure a lot of them can go without gas. We haven't really used that much of it throughout all these yellows, but we'll see. It'd be interesting if we get more yellows. Will we see cars coming into pit lane continuously? Because if we do, those positions will just be granted right back to Travis Miller. Justin Winters would love to see it stay green and not have people coming into pit lane. I'm sure he's going to feel confident in his car and his abilities to get past Adam Lancaster and Nick Noggle. Justin Winters has a good group of people cheering him on here in the YouTube chat for this live stream. So shout out to all of Justin Winters fans down here rooting on the number 88 Allen's Body Shop Chevrolet as they're all lined up and ready to go. He's going to see if he can make all these people proud and hold on, try to get up there, get some good points, maybe get the win, and pull it off here at Martinsville. We got a little bit more than 20 laps to go, but we're coming back to the green. We'll see how many of them we can tick off under green as Nicholas Noggle gets an excellent restart.
Justin Winters gets caught asleep there. He's going to fall back to the fourth position now as Robertson. Though Maurer gets a shot going into turn number 1. It's going to send him up the top side. He's going to hold on to it, though. We stay green. Here comes Robertson down to the inside. Going to send it in deep on the 28 of Lancaster. He's going to get the curb caught. Oh, and now Winters gets hit. He's going to hold on to it, but that's going to cost him a ton of track position as now they are stacked up behind. Travis Miller now going to wedge it 3 wide. Now Joshua Abbey gets sent around, and he's going to get sent in the wall spinning. Now we're back on yellow. We're going to have a 10-lap shootout on our hands as, man, that was a really rough way to go about it.
Oh, but man, did you see Travis Miller? He was running that car. He made 2 passes out of turn number 4. Unfortunately, Grenier just kind of underestimated that one. Joshua Abbey came in their corner sideways there beside Travis Miller. But man, oh man, is that 22 car on the move. And those fresh tires are really going to be helping him out here. Already back up to 5th spot. But yeah, you talk about Joshua Abbey here. The Texan driver just got tagged in the rear by the number 15. They were 3 wide right in front of him. And yeah, he slowed up a little bit more than he probably usually does because they were 3 wide. He didn't want to be in the middle in a 3 wide situation. We've seen how that goes through the turn 1 complex so far today. And Grenier didn't make any adjustments for that aspect of the run into the corner. And unfortunately, the difference in braking between the 05 and the 15 made that one occur for us. But yeah, that whole thing was a result of the 88 machine getting tagged and caught out, slowed up a little bit, and Scott Fritz got into the back of him. That slowed the 100 machine up, which got him going 3 wide with Travis Miller diving all the way down low on Joshua Abbey as well, and that's just going to result in a situation that we could have avoided. But unfortunately, these guys, just nothing more they could do from it.
Yeah, just an incredible save by the 88. The two sent them really in deep on the number 28, which caused all of that. And then just a huge stack of going 3 wide, and then Scott Fritz just sends it in really deep. Just kind of nowhere to go really for the 05. Is there a 3 wide going into turn 1? It wasn't going to work, and sadly that sent the 05 packing into the outside wall. As now we're going to go green back with about 10 laps to go here at the Martinsville Speedway. Nicholas Nago still your race leader. Robertson is second, Lancaster third, Winters fourth, Miller fifth. As the drivers are now talking about hot dogs, which is obviously Martinsville famous for their pretty cheap hot dogs, I might add. I know our buddy Michael Cozy Jr., shout out to WinVow. He has actually been to Martinsville. Also, Brody Vance has been there with him, and they actually gave pretty good ratings for those hot dogs. So that's one of those tracks that I have on my bucket list to go out there and try that. I'm not really good on putting too many toppings on a hot dog, but you can make an exception for a track like Martinsville.
Well, I might be biased. I've never been to Martinsville, and I got to try it. I got to see it to believe it, but I might be biased because that Glen dog they served me at the Sailing 6 Hours at the Glen has far and beyond exceeded my expectations of what we know and love as our track food when we get to endeavor a beautiful weekend at the racetrack. But certainly Martinsville is one of those speedways that everybody wants to go to at least once to be able to attend and experience the race itself and the place itself. So the lights are out on the pace car here at said Martinsville Speedway. We have about 10 laps remaining in tonight's race, and I'm sure a lot of these guys are glad to see only 10 laps left on that ticker, because this one's been a long one. We've seen a lot of yellows and a lot of frustration coming out, and we knew coming into this race we would be seeing some tempers flaring. That's what short track racing does to our drivers, and especially for some of the guys who have been caught out in situations they could not control. But two Toyotas leading us to the green this time. Noggle and Robertson out of the corner. Winters with a great start right behind the 08 car, who jumped that one like a bugger and got it out there. The 08 machine running it through turn 1 and 2.
They're fighting hard back there for second as Winters and Robertson putting up a fight for the runner-up spot. Miller trying to make a move on Grenier for the third spot as they can make it back to the quarter. And now he's going to give a shot to the number 2. That's going to send him into the path of the 22. 2 goes slamming up to the outside wall, and now the caution's back out. And we're going to have maybe a 5 to 6 lap shootout as Winters sends it a little bit too deep. Maybe they've caught the curve a little bit, and just a little bit of push to the number 2, and that's going to send the number 2 careening in front of the 22 and then cause error. You see on the replay.
Yeah, so we're watching down the back stretch here, and the 88 machine, he didn't look like he slid up too much, but yeah, he definitely came into that corner a little hotter than he probably wanted to do. So, and he got into the 2 car who slid sideways, and unfortunately for Travis Miller, who's been on a tear getting back up to the front end of this field, trying to get up to first place again, he was just coming along through his own line of the corner. Yeah, as you see, Robertson was doing the same thing when he got a little bit of a tag from the 88 car, and then Travis Miller, no time even to react to a situation like that. He's just going to have to deal with a little bit more damage on the front bumper of the 22 machine, but the 2 cars got a lot of damage, and he's fallen back to the tail end of the field. See if Brandon Robertson's maybe got a fast repair left, but I don't know about that. We've had a long race to have a fast repair left, so Brandon Robertson, we're just going to see what he digs out of this one.
Coming to the line now, they're going to approach lap 244, so now 7 to go here. Noggle, still your race leader. Justin Winters in second, and McNear back there in third. And according to, I believe, the admins, I have to maybe look at a bigger view of the incident, but they're saying it might have been netcode that was the cause between the 88 and the 2, so we may have to look back at that later on. McNear, though, is in third. Travis Miller back there in fourth, and then Scott Fritz still holding on to a pretty well placed top 5 finish, which would be incredible for the number 100 machine. He's been running up there in the 5th spot since a lot of these cautions have come out, and he's just kind of been the sole survivor of all of this. Of course, he was involved in that incident with Joshua Abbey, but other than that, he's been just holding it in there and taking the positions he can. And what a job would it be if he could get a top 5 here at Martinsville.
Yeah, Scott Fritz isn't one of those guys that we normally see running strongly at the front end of the pack for long periods of time, like, say, Travis Miller, Brandon Robertson, Justin Winters. But he is definitely a strong driver in this series. He's made noise previously as the season has unfolded. And the number 100 machine, if he could pull it off, it'd be a pretty great day for him to get a top 5. Maybe he'll get lucky. He'll get a couple positions. Maybe he'll pull up the top 3. Who knows? He's still in contention for this one. There'll still be 4 laps to go when we go back to green flag racing. That's plenty of time for Scott Fritz to have a couple things turn in his favor. And the luck that's been going around at this track, maybe some good luck will start coming up and being passed around to the drivers, and maybe some of it will go Scott Fritz's way.
Now off of turn number 2 for 1 to go here at the Martinsville Raceway as we get ready to go back racing. Noggle the leader. Winters now up to 2nd. Grenier 3rd. Miller 4th. Fritz 5th. Maurer 6th. Worthington 7th. And now Noggle gets the jump on the restart, and the Winter's going to get caught sleeping. He's going to actually run wide. And oh no! Grenier gets squeezed into with Miller, and we're back on the yellow. Now we're going to go into overtime, I believe, as Grenier now out of contention for his possible first win of the race or the season so far. Worthington actually involved in another wreck, and so is Maurer, so a big stack up involved behind, and that's going to take out a lot of other drivers who are in position for another top 10. Look at the restart here. Noggle just caught him in a perfect time. That was a very early restart, one of the earliest we've seen all night. Winters runs to the outside wall, and then you see just Grenier and Miller make contact, and then just there's the wreck. Oh, wow, yeah, they're trying to avoid it. Wes Wiggin actually makes contact with 113. That's what sent them in to the 971. So that's what caused that incident. Now we are back under yellow, and we will now have our first attempt at overtime, I do believe.
Yeah, and that's a really, really, really tough break for Matt Grenier. The driver out of New England in the snap-on Ford was running so well all night long. Led laps, was doing really well. I thought maybe we could see him in contention for this one. It looks like Travis Miller just came off of the topside wall a little bit more than he thought he had room for. As a result of it, Maurer and Worthington trying to slow up and not be a part of the incident. Wes Wiggin did not do quite the same and ran into the tail of those two, and the two Pennsylvania drivers spun around there off Wes Wiggin as well. So, yeah, you're on board here with Miller, and he's just watching that snap-on machine slide up in front of him. And down the inside goes Scott Fritz, who is going to have to give that position back as the yellow flag came out anyway. But the 100 machine gained a spot. At least we talk about Scott Fritz and how well he's been doing. Scott Fritz gained a spot out of this one, which Travis Miller just slid down a little bit into Matt Grenier and caused us another yellow to bring us to a green-white checkered.
Not even green-white checkered the race. We now have officially reached the lap 250. So now this race is going to turn into a 252 or about 253 lap race. I keep forgetting every time they cross the line now. Iracing extends the lap distance by one more. They have about 47 minutes left to do this. I doubt they're going to use it all, but with the way things are going, it's been such a melee, it might actually happen. I'm not saying anything against the drivers. It's just Martinsville is such a really tricky track, and for such tight corners, it's so hard to get it done. Is now Nicholas Noggle going to take the restart again, as they make it into turn number 1, as that Winter's going to take over second once more. Now you see the point standings again. A big update here. If Justin Winters wins it, that's really going to extend the points fight between him and Miller and give him a little bit more cushion. As remember, going into Kentucky, unlike most of the season, which has been 50% races, Kentucky is going to be an actual 400-mile event. So be very aware of that as they go into there. So it's going to be a lot on the line in this race, because it's really going to set into the longest race of the season and the home season finale at the home turf for the Bluegrass Iracing Series. Now they get the 1 to go here.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting to see how these drivers make it through a full-length race. It's definitely going to be a tough one to get through for a lot of these guys. It's going to be very physically demanding. As much as you might scoff that off for being a video game, it is very demanding of the patience and the focus of a driver to make it through a 400-mile race. And these guys are going to have to be working on making sure they can get through 400 miles at Kentucky, which obviously is going to be a lot different than Martinsville, because if we had a 400-mile race at Kentucky with as many cautions as we've seen here tonight, we wouldn't quite get through. But we're green flag racing once more. See if we can get to that white flag and see if we can get this one going. to the point where we get a
we have a
checkered
wreck
flag.
behind!
Oh no, they're wrecking behind him, and the yellow's going to be
flag.
coming back out again, and that was Jack Bauer sideways in turn one.
Wow, that was a really rough incident for Jack Bauer. And actually no. According to the admins, they actually do only they get about 2 or 3 green white checker attempts. They just said if you don't do it this time by when we go back racing, that'll be the race. So yeah, this is good. But this will be the last whistle. Yep, it's gonna be the last green white checkered finish. As we're gonna look back on the restart, the 48 that Jack Bauer on the restart we wait to see on the screen. And then you're looking back there on West Wigan, we'll see exactly what happened here in the next few laps, or next few minutes here.
Yeah, that's tough for these guys, and it's just hard for all these guys. Are just getting so impatient and ready to be done with this race. So many yellow flags. So the green flag comes back out here, and into the corner they come, and yeah, up and ahead, and that's Jack Bauer. And oh boy, you just can't avoid a car sliding in front of you like that. Tough stuff for West Wigan, but yeah, Jack Bauer's way too far down onto the apex of that corner. Coming into turn number one. When I was younger, my dad always taught me when I was learning how to handle cars and drive racing, he always said, if you apex too soon, you're going to run out of room. And Jack Bauer ran out of room really quickly into turn number one there.
Now they're going to go a few more laps. They're actually going to go 10 laps past the official race distance. Nicholas Noggle still a race later. Travis Miller has now boosted himself into second. And then Justin Winters falls back to third. Scott Fritz now still holding on to fourth, and Adam Lancaster up to the fifth position as Wyatt Brackett's still holding on to sixth. And how about Joshua Abbey after the amount of incidents he's been involved in? He's now rebounded up into the seventh position through all of this.
Yeah, and that's pretty good for him, especially considering the incidents we've seen Joshua Abbey take part in, whether it be by his own nature or as a result of being at the wrong place at the wrong time. Joshua Abbey has fought back up to 7th spot. And actually, if you look right behind him, breaking into the top 10 after being all the way 3 laps down, John Kinder is going to salvage at least a top 10 out of this event so long as he keeps his nose clean through whatever stages of this second attempt at a green-white checkered we have under green flag conditions. And hopefully he keeps it clean there. But Nicholas Noggle is going to be leading us to the green when we get that one here started shortly, and we should be seeing the one to go to the green flag restart, that is, for the cars coming out of the turn this time, and hopefully we'll be able to get that one going. But Noah, this is the last attempt. This is it. They go green or they wreck and it's ending under yellow, so what are we expecting here?
Hopefully a green flag finish. Obviously we're going to expect Nicholas Noggle to do the same exact thing he's been doing all race long, which has been restarting on the right at the exit turn 4, which has been catching with everything second to the outside wall. So expect maybe Travis Miller to try and expect something of that to keep it on the outside of Noggle going into turn number 1. As here they go, the final restart of the night as they get ready to go green. Noggle starting to pick up the pace, and there we go. We are now green flag racing for 2 more laps here at Martinsville.
They get the green flag and they're going into turn number 1. Noggle jumps out really nicely out in front of the 22 machine. The 88 is going to try to see if he can close that gap down the back straightaway. Contact a little bit there between Fritz and Lancaster, as now Lancaster's going to get some challenging from behind with Abbey, who gives him a little shove, and Wyatt Brackett on his tail, but the 05 goes down the inside of the 28 machine. 1 lap to go. We're going to get it in this time. So whether it goes green or not, and it's not, because Joshua Abbey is sideways. Wyatt Brackett shoved him in there, and look who stayed out front, Nicholas Noggle, and he's going to push that thing to the finish. He wants the checkered flags right now.
Noggle coming out of turn number 4. He is going to survive the caution. He says, forget the pace car. He takes the checkered flag. Noggle captures his first ever win of the Bluegrass Iracing Cup Series season. He takes it home in Martinsville. Travis Miller will finish it out in second. Justin Winters holds on to third, so that will shake up the point standings a little bit. Because of that, we're going to see how it all ends out with the lap leader count. Scott Fritz holds on to a top 5 finish, and then how about Adam Lancaster now going to take home 5th?
The 6th position is going to be John Kinder, which was an excellent finish for him, considering everything that happened throughout the course of this one and having to fight back so hard like he did. And we're going to see Nick Noggle come around again here, and maybe we'll get a nice little burnout for us to all enjoy on screen. Justin Winters and Travis Miller stayed out on the course for this one as well, but the 08 just pulled it off. I mean, what more can you say about it? It was a good stuff to see that one come almost to the green flag finish, but not quite. But Nicholas Noggle, your race winner tonight, and just a good show. Good shows for the 08 machine finally breaking through and getting that first win of the season.
And Noggle now gonna trying to do a burnout here, struggling to get it done here. Probably those old tires giving some issues, and there he goes. He's gonna whip around, and now Nicholas Noggle finally gonna burn it down here at the paperclip, and he's still swinging. A lot of drivers are for some reason staying on the course, and there we go. And now Nicholas Noggle gonna do the burnout, and we're gonna sit back and watch this celebration. Oh no, there's something that happened with the iRacing race control. So this is actually a really big shakeup. Nicholas Noggle is not the race winner. I'm not exactly sure what happened. Maybe because of the fact that he went around the pace car and crossed the line before the pace car got there. But now Travis Miller is your race winner.
Oh wow! What a turn of events that is! Can't? Well, what are the officials going to say about that? Wow!
Dave said there's nothing they can do. There's nothing that they can do because of the fact that they can't change what iRacing has done. It's already in the service. The results are official. So what happens has happened. I'm not exactly sure the situation that's going on, but that is
okay. Here's the thing: if you watch that replay back again, the pace car. Watch how close the pace car comes out of pit lane, and look at he just beat Nick Noggle. So Nick Noggle was behind the pace car when it exited the pit lane, and then he passed it coming through. And rather than stopping and coming back and letting the pace car pass him again to lead him to the checkered flag, which iRacing's official programs were expecting him to do, because that pace car was leading him as he came out of that corner, and he didn't slow down. He wanted that checkered flag as soon as he could get it. And as a result of that, the program did not register him as following the rules and therefore penalized him from the race lead. And wow. So Travis Miller adopted it as a result of that. And you see Nick Noggle right there. He stopped and let the pace car pass him again because he had that pop-up on his screen telling him what happened. Wow. That is an unfortunate situation of just how close he was to beating the pace car out of pit lane. Because if he would have beat the pace car out of the pit lane, he might have gotten away with that whole ordeal there and been clean to take the race victory. Wow, I cannot believe that. That is such a heartbreaker for the 08 team.
That is so close. We're going to take a quick commercial break here. Going to try and figure some things out, get our drivers prepared here, and wrap it up here for Martinsville after what was an absolute chaotic race, to say the least, here at Martinsville Speedway for the penultimate round of the Bluegrass Iracing Series. Stay tuned. We'll be back here at the post-race coverage with our interviews and hopefully a word with our race winner.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? it's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
Well, after an amazing long race here at the Martinsville Speedway, we do have an update on the situation at hand. So to describe what happened, exactly what Joe said, kind of what a deal, if you remember back in about the early 90s, between, I believe it was Jeff Bodine and Dale Earnhardt, where he picked up the wrong guy on the pace lap. It's kind of the same thing that happened here. So what you saw, Noggle passed the pace car, went around and crossed the start finish line. The pace car picked up Miller because he let him back by, and as they crossed the line, it picked Miller up as the win. We have talked with the race officials, and they have said continue to score Noggle as a race winner. So currently, as it stands right now, Nicholas Noggle is going to be your race winner. We'll drag him in here to try and get a word with him. Nicholas, it is Noah Carmichael here in the PitStop TV booth. You got a copy?
How's it going today?
Well, pretty good. I can see you have a little bit of mixed emotions for yourself. Just kind of take us through a little bit on that lap, that whole finish there.
Probably with about 20 to go, whenever we took the lead or were running second in that zone, I'm thinking, okay, just got to hold on to it for 20 laps, should be able to drive pretty defensive and hold on to it. And then it was like, okay, caution, okay, 10 laps, okay, caution, okay, 5 laps, caution, 2 laps, okay, I just need to make it till the next caution.
Kind of how it was for us too. Ever since that first caution, that lap 78, we really weren't able to see a whole lot of green flag racing there. But obviously, the big story now exiting is the current situation with the timing and scoring, due to a little bit of a timing scoring error where it picked up Miller as the winner. They still say you're the winner, so how does it feel now to currently, as it stands, have your first win here in the Bluegrass Iracing Series?
It's pretty awesome, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of hoping to get one before the end of the season. At the beginning of this race, in all honesty, I didn't think I was going to finish on the lead lap, and then just started to figure out the track a bit and watching where the rest of the boys were running, and really helped me out a bunch.
Obviously, thanks to those cautions, you're able to rebound back up to the top 5, but just what was it like running through there in the mid-pack? And it seemed like you were involved in almost every caution that was going on between the 125 all the way up to about lap 200.
Yeah, it seemed like once you were back there, it was kind of a game of avoid what's going on, and unfortunately a lot of the times you couldn't. You'd get into a spot and you'd just watch the guy behind you run right through you, but trying everything you could to just keep the car in one piece. And then luckily I knew I was trying so hard to save my fast repair, that way on the last run there I was able to have a fresh car.
Alright, well now with one race to go in Kentucky, what is your game plan for the season finale here for the Bluegrass Series?
It's just going to be the same as every week. I'd like to just go out and try to win the race, if nothing else. I mean, that's all the goal is every week. Just go out, have a good time, and see how good we can do.
Alright, before I let you go here, who do you have to thank here for your first win of the season?
I got to thank Bricon Construction, Mobile One, all the sponsors that are on the car. Those are the guys that make it work in the sim, and those are the guys that make it work in real life. I can't help but thank them. They're the reason we get to do what we love.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your first one of the season. Hopefully we get to talk to you one more time at Kentucky in a week's time.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Alright, so that's going to be our race winner, Mr. Nicholas Noggle. And now I will hand it over to Joe Donahue, who has our runner-up finisher, Travis Miller.
Well, it seems like when we come on these broadcasts, I get to talk to my buddy Travis Miller a lot. But Travis, it's Joe Donahue up with PitStop TV. Do you got us?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, Travis, the ending of that race came down to some scoring, interesting scoring situations. You want to talk us through your perspective of what happened there on that last lap?
Yeah, I'm not really too sure. There's a couple possibilities of what the black flag could have been for, but I don't really know. It's not my area to say what happened. Looks like he may have jumped the restart, but I'm not really too sure. I don't know. I'm just more worried. We finished in front of Justin, so I mean, I gained a couple points on him, so that was good.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to talk about that championship. I mean, you and Justin have been at each other for the entirety of the season. You both have said you're very respectful of each other and you enjoy racing with each other, but the championship has come down to the final race, and it's so close between the two of you now. What is the goal with the championship? What is your strategy at Kentucky to try to keep yourself, hopefully, in front of Justin at the end of the season here?
Yeah, it's been a good year. It's been real close. And I guess next week we're just going to have to hope that we just go out and just try and lead as many laps as possible. I think that's the way to look at the race, is just be aggressive and be more and more aggressive, and that'll hopefully at the end of the race we'll be up front, because it's a mile and a half, so you don't really have to worry too much about getting caught up in other people's messes. Obviously it might happen, but it's less likely. So yeah, just be aggressive, try and lead every lap, and put a lot of practice in.
Absolutely, and you talk about getting caught up in other people's messes, and you talk about keeping racing clean. Tonight's race, not quite so. We saw you in a couple incidents tonight, not as many as some other drivers, but we definitely saw you get caught up in some situations that you could not avoid yourself. You want to talk us through all of these yellows, and what are you thinking when you just consistently are getting these cautions back to back to back?
Yeah, there was a lot of yellows. The first part of the race was going really good. I thought we might have been able to get a couple more long runs in there, but it's just the nature of a short track. And I just got to apologize to John. I didn't mean to get into him there to wreck him, and that kind of ruined his entire race. And then every restart he was getting penalties, so I just want to apologize to him. And then Matt and I kind of got into it on the front straightaway there. I kind of came down on him off the wall because I thought I was going to hit it, and it was like maybe half an inch, and we made contact and kind of screwed his race over there. So just some short track racing gone wrong, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely, and there's no blame to be had. Obviously, we're not out here to try to wreck each other. It was a very respectful series, but it takes a lot of patience to get through something like that. And we've talked about your ability to be patient behind the wheel throughout the course of a race and be adverse and persevere through an event. Talk us through the perseverance that it took to get through everything that's happened in these last 150 so laps of this race, where things started slowing down and getting a little frustrating.
Yeah, it was tough because like all those cautions keep coming out, and you keep running through like strategy and stuff through your mind. And I saw Justin pitted early there, so I wanted to get like a nice 15 lap run in at the end, so that we'd have a lot better tires than him. But unfortunately, we didn't get it with all the yellows. And I mean, that's what happens. That's why racing's racing. It's a lot of unknowns, and it kind of worked out for us tonight. But sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it does, and it's just you just got to be patient. A lot of it's just patience and keeping your head clear and just moving on.
Absolutely. And Travis, so that ends out your night. You finished runner-up. Excellent race nonetheless here at Martinsville. Who do you have to thank, and what else do you have to say here on the broadcast before we let you go for your evening?
Yeah, I just got to thank the Brp Iracing Series for all they do for me. Gaston's Auto Sales, Bicknell Racing Products, MDR Designs, and Splash and Go Graphics for the beautiful cars. And I just got to thank my spotter wasn't here with me this week. He was with me last week, and I forgot to thank him on the broadcast. So I just got to thank my spotter, Pat Reiser, for all he does for me. He kind of keeps me in check when I'm starting to lose my marbles a little bit in the middle of a race. So I just got to say thanks to him for all the effort he's put into this year. And thanks to you guys for putting this on. It's always fun.
Absolutely, Travis. And we hope you have a good evening. You finished second place, so good stuff from you. And I think we've talked, you and I, in these post-race interviews. I'm pretty sure you and I have done it together the last 3 times that I've partook in the broadcast. So maybe we'll keep the trend up next week at Kentucky, and I'll be talking to you there. But we'll be excited to see what you got at Kentucky. And congrats on your second place.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Hopefully next week's more of the same, and we can come out with a win. So thanks. Have a good one.
Absolutely. And so we're going to send Travis Miller on his way to let him settle down from tonight's event. And we're going to bring in our third place finisher, who is his main competitor in the championship. And Noah Carmichael, you're going to get to take over with the number 88 Machines driver, Justin Winters.
Well, Justin, you came in here off a solid run at the Roval. You led a couple laps. You ran up here at the front. Take us through that entire race in that 88 Allen's Body Shop Chevy.
Crazy. I haven't felt very good all day, and this race didn't really help that much. It was a crazy race. Got second pit stop, first pit stop, got trapped a lap down, got the lucky dog. Just trying to keep pace with everybody, be patient, and led a couple laps. Kind of got lucky with that, and then up at front at the end, where the end was very, very eventful.
Now, we saw a late race. You made a little contact there with Brandon Robertson. Kind of take us through what happened with the whole incident to bring out that caution.
I've had time to relook at it. It looks like it was a little bit of net code. We were pretty much a couple feet apart, or about a foot apart, and it got into him. So I wouldn't get into him on purpose. It's Martinsville tight racing. I told him maybe I'd drift up the track a little bit, but I wouldn't race Brandon like that. So hopefully he's not too upset with me. And so we looked at the replay, and I don't think I really got into it.
Well, for most of the race, it seemed it was a kind of a show, as always throughout the season, between you and Travis Miller. You came in here with adding the 2 drop weeks with a 6-point lead. You now leave here with possibly close to less than that. Now you go into Kentucky fighting for the championship. What is your game plan now to try and beat this 22 for the overall championship?
You hit the nail on the head with the hammer, my friend. Beat the 22 at all costs. Finish in front of him. It's a double points race, so max points would be the goal for sure. But we need to get as many points as we can. Make sure we lead laps. Make sure we finish ahead of the 22 and let the points take care of themselves.
All right, well, before we let you go here to enjoy this third place finish, who do you have to thank here for your eventful run here at the paperclip?
Right. I want to thank Allen's Body Shop for being on the car, Huffman Designs for being the painter of all of the races, or all the cars all year. Thank Boots Manufacturing for being on the car, Bluegrass Iracing Series for putting this on. You guys for hosting it. You guys have done a great job all year. And then we'll go to the finale next week and have some fun and see what happens.
Absolutely. Hopefully we get to see a lot of the race we've seen you guys all season. And congratulations on third place finish, and we'll see you in a week's time down in Sparta.
Yes, sir. We'll see you there. You have a good night.
That'll wrap it up here for our post-race interviews. Before we close it off here, though, we want to thank our incredible sponsors here at PitStop TV one final time. Starting off the list, we're going to go with Tucson Sound Art. Your picture, your music. You provide the image you want, and we will create a beautiful framed, high-quality canvas with a built-in Bluetooth speaker. With Sound Art, you get the best of both worlds. Visit TucsonSoundArt.com for additional information.
We also want to thank the Brp Iracing Series. The Brp Iracing Series is a series run and owned by Northeastern big block modified drivers, crew guys, and fans. If you're looking to get into dirt racing or already are, this league is for you. BRP is a fixed setup league running 360 winged sprint cars and pro late models. BRP Iracing Series will be adding the big block modifieds to their series lineup now that they are free content here on the iRacing service. You can find BRP on their Facebook page. Just look them up, the BRP Iracing Series.
Next up, we're also going to thank Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care money can buy. At Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine, the owner, Ashley Bollier, is a certified micropigmentation specialist who provides professional, safe, and personal light services. You can contact Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine at permanentmakeupinmaine.com or call/text them at 207-358-8683. If you're looking for the best solutions for your permanent makeup concerns, give Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine a call today to book a consultation. If you visit their Facebook page, Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine, you can enter one of their monthly giveaways. Enter today, and who knows, you might just win.
And of course, it wouldn't be a Bluegrass iRacing broadcast on PitStop TV without thanking Whiplash Media, PitStop TV's new parent organization. Whiplash Media specializes in various sim racing resources, including paint schemes, stream overlays, iRacing camera packs, and much more. Whiplash Media is also working on having a presence in the real racing world, offering services such as photography, social media management, and public relations. Be sure to go check out Whiplash Media at their website, www.whiplash-media.com for more information.
And that'll wrap it up here. But before we go home, let's look at the race results one final time. Obviously, with the results as they stand, we're going to have to move the positions a little bit. Nicholas Noggle is actually going to be your race winner here tonight. He'll take home his first win of the season. Travis Miller will take home second. Justin Winters finishes it off in third. Scott Fritz takes home an incredible P4. How about Wyatt Brackett? He started up there at the front. He stayed at the front. He takes home fifth. Brandon Robertson is able to rebound to sixth. John Kender having an incredible comeback after a very miserable race for that 21 machine. He rounds it out in seventh. Daniel Worthington is going to finish it off in eighth. Mac near the 15, who started on pole, takes home ninth. And then Brian Terry, who ran in the back for most of the race, he takes home a top 10 in the end of this. That's an incredible finish for him.
As you look at the rest of this final order, Adam Lancaster rounded it out in 11th place. He was fighting for it at the end, and just unfortunate situations at the end of the race didn't permit him from getting a much better finish than 11th spot. Joshua Abbey, who was up and down throughout the course of today's race, the Texan driver, coming home in 12th place, just in front of Jack Bauer in the number 48. The Ally Chevrolet had some trouble all through the evening. The number 971, Nathan Maurer, in 14th position at the end of today's race, and rounding out your top 15, another Texan driver in the number 188 is Wes Wigand, who was involved in a good couple incidents on his own as well throughout the race. Nick Mills, one lap down in 16th position, tough night for him, as well as Chris Maxwell, who made his first start with the Bluegrass iRacing Series tonight and just ran it smoothly on his own, trying to learn the racing with these guys, ended up 46 laps down. The final driver on the grid after this race is David Brackett, the number 38, who relinquished his position in the server and finished 105 laps down in 18th. Actually didn't finish the race, but 105 laps behind the race leaders at the end of this one.
And with that, that'll conclude our coverage tonight of the Bluegrass iRacing Series. We at PitStop TV thank you for tuning in and joining us for tonight's action, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast. Be sure to join us again Sunday for the Superior Class Auto Racing Series at Watkins Glen International. don't be gone for too long, as the day afterwards on Monday, the Northwest GT3 Challenge will take their cars to the beautiful Mount Panorama Circuit in Bathurst, and then on Wednesday, the finale for the Bluegrass Iracing Series, an entire 400 miles double points paying race at the Kentucky Speedway, as we prepare to close off an incredible inaugural series. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/PitStopTV, on Twitter at PitStopTV_, and on Twitch at twitch.tv/Pit_Stop_TV, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1. For all of PitStop TV, Joe Donahue on the mic, Trey Shuttlesworth on production, and I'm Noah Carmichael for PitStop TV, and we'll see you next time.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the other speaker. This isn't a picture with the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas. Now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it is you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's speaking. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that no one has. No one has this product. It's a great gift to anybody. It's a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good. Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.